And a welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here with us. Thank you for your patience here this morning on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. We are inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, Great Lakes Honda City, coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Make your way over to Great Lakes Honda City today and let them know that DT sent you their way. They're open for sales and service Monday through Saturday, and they would be happy to see you and help you find your next ride today. I have trusted Great Lakes Honda City, which you knew before as Honda City of Liverpool. I have trusted them for over a decade with my vehicles, and I cannot thank them enough for the work that they've done to make sure that I get into a vehicle that I can afford, that I feel safe in, that has great gas mileage. So many thanks to Great Lakes Honda City for all that you do. I appreciate you very much, and I look forward to you all going over to Great Lakes Honda City today. We are up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and we're on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. So however you're connecting with the show, thank you so much for being with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. It's a Monday, so you know Murph is with me here, and we're going to be discussing a bunch of different things, but we're going to have a unique Monday because Adrian Autry is joining me on game day. That's right, the head coach of the Syracuse Orange men's basketball program on the first day of games inside of the 2025-26 season. He'll be joining me to usher in the season here on Wake Up Call as the game is tonight against the Binghamton Bearcats, and I'll be with Adrian this morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time to speak on the season, the squad, and game day. So a lot of great stuff coming up with Adrian at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Murph and I will talk about the World Series, give you a little recap of the Dodgers in 7 and over the Blue Jays, and then after Adrian's on, Brendan will come back. We'll discuss college football week 11, the rankings, what we agree and disagree with, and then we'll get into sports card show and tell, proudly presented by GG Cards and Breaks, and I'll be showing off the cards that I received when I had the wonderful opportunity of doing a birthday box break where Josh Gideon last Monday, had me come into GG Cards and Breaks when they weren't even open. And we sat together and we opened up 3 different boxes in celebration of my birthday, which is a wonderful gift from him and the team at GG Cards and Breaks. So a lot of great stuff coming up here. Let's bring Murph in to talk about the World Series, and a World Series where I was this close. I was a slide to home close. I said Blue Jays in 7. They got me all the way to 7. 3 games against the Dodgers in LA. They win 2 of them. The only game the Dodgers won took them 18 innings to win. Blue Jays pushed them all the way to playing 2 games in 1 game, plus they won the other 2. They go back to Toronto, and they didn't win game 6, and I was okay with that because I wanted my prediction to be correct. And then they were there. They had a couple runs on them. Then it was down to 1 run. Then it was back to 2. Then you got this back and forth between them. The Dodgers came on late, and then a solo shot by Will Smith, who we talked about there being a Will Smith in multiple World Series in a row, and he gets the home run. He also caught every pitcher that was out there, and he's done an incredible job and everything in the extra innings and whatnot. And then the Blue Jays had a shot, and it was just a little bit short on 2 separate occasions, or else. And I was so ready. To just finally be like, they did it. They got it. This prediction wasn't crazy. And obviously the prediction wasn't crazy. As you see, the series went to extra innings in game 7. But ultimately, the Dodgers won back-to-back. They're the first team to do it since the Yankees did it in 1998, 1999, and 2000. So they are the first to do it in the 21st century, besides the tail end of when the Yankees did it in 98, 99, and 2000, which is win back-to-back World Series, which has been dang near impossible for almost every Major League Baseball franchise that has won a World Series. With that being said, Murph, how are you?
I am great. Leaving for vacation tomorrow, so that's a pretty good thing to look forward to. Got a very busy day of stuff to do today for work. So I'm going to take care of all that stuff, make sure I get all that done before I leave tomorrow. And it's been great. World Series was awesome. Arguably the best one of my lifetime. Arguably the best one of all time. And yeah, you were 2 outs away, about 6 inches away, and then a ridiculous play where Andy Pages trucked Kike Hernandez to catch the ball away. That was an awesome series, man. I mean, and the Blue Jays had a chance, man. Bottom of the ninth, they load the bases with 1 out with the winning run standing on third base.
Yeah.
Anybody watching that game's got to think, yeah, they're probably going to win this game. Their win probability was probably like 85% from that point on. And then you have the bouncer hit to Miggy Rojas, who hit the home run on the top of the ninth to tie it. Was off balance, threw a strike to the plate. Will Smith's foot came up and then got back on the bag before Isaiah Kiner-Falefa was able to slide home. I will say this. I think if IKF slides head first, he probably beats it. And we're having a very different conversation. But that's, I digress. But that was such a great series. Game 7 was such a great baseball game. You had Will Smith was the one who delivered in the top of the 11th to give the Dodgers the lead. And then you had the heroics from your World Series most valuable player, Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Yeah.
Less than 24 hours after throwing 6 brilliant innings, throwing 96 pitches, he's back on the mound, throws 2 1/3, or I think 2 2/3 scoreless innings, and the Dodgers win the World Series.
Yeah.
That was a legendary performance by Yamamoto. Yeah. You don't see guys one day after throwing a gem coming out and saying, Skip, I can pitch tonight. It's Game 7 of the World Series. All hands on deck. Everybody's available. There is no tomorrow.
Yeah.
And they proved it. Every single guy who started a game on the mound for the Dodgers pitched in Game 7.
Yeah.
Every single starting pitcher from this series pitched in Game 7. They start with Shohei Ohtani, who got knocked out after the Bo Bichette 3-run homer. Tyler Glasnow comes in. Who's the third guy that I'm missing? Blake Snell came in late in the game.
Yeah.
And then Yamamoto closes it out. They lived and died with their starters in Game 7. And I give them a ton of credit for that. Even the Blue Jays, man. Shane Bieber was out there. Granted, he gave up the home run to Will Smith on, kind of a cookie, but he was out there pitching. I think he pitched Game 5. So he was on 2 days rest. Yeah. But the fact that these guys were coming out and willing to pitch in Game 7 and all they wanted to do was win, this was not a team like the Dodgers. To me, I don't even know if I could sit here and say they wanted it more, because both of these teams wanted it. They played like they wanted it. Yeah. I just think the better team won. And that's kind of, what we've talked about. The Dodgers have a lot of stars on their team, but their role players are all, just good baseball players. Miguel Rojas hadn't had a hit in a month, and he has 2 hits in the game. He hits the game-tying home run, and he makes the game-saving play at second base. And in Game 6, he made a game-saving play, catching the one hopper from Kike to end the game. So Miggy Rojas had himself a heck of a series in Toronto. So I give them a lot of credit. But as I think the Blue Jays had a great baseball team, they had a great year.
Yeah.
I just firmly think the better team won, and I don't think that's a far-fetched statement to say, and I don't think many people would disagree with that. But it was a great series. I told you from the beginning, I was rooting for the Blue Jays, but my head was telling me that the Dodgers were going to win. Obviously, they did. The Blue Jays had 2 chances to come home and win it, and they didn't do it. Realistically, they were 2 outs away.
Yeah.
They were 90 feet away, and they couldn't get it done. I think that tells you just how complete of a team the Dodgers are. And it's am I crazy to think they're the favorites for a three-peat? I don't think so. They're not really losing anything. And they'll fill in the gaps with veterans like they did with Miguel Rojas, like they have with Tommy Edman and Kike Hernandez. All of these guys that have been around the block that now have won a World Series or 2 in the case of Kike and Tommy Edman. Mookie Betts gets his 4th. Clayton Kershaw retires a champion with 3.
Yeah.
As much as it killed me to see the Dodgers win, you see it more and more, and you're like, it's going to be tough to beat these guys. It really is. And Joe Davis, like, I heard the call originally, and I'm like, that's not a great call for the end of the game. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, you know what? It ended up being good, because what he said was, to beat the champ, you got to knock him out. And he's right. The Dodgers were down. They got knocked down. But just like Rocky against Apollo Creed, he got back up. And what did he do? He finished off the fight. And he knocked out Apollo Creed. By a second, but, who's counting?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's the thing. The Dodgers were the big bad wolf, and they came to blow the Blue Jays' house down, and the Blue Jays kept the house up. They protected the house. They took care of business, and they went on the offensive. They went out to L.A. They proved what they had been proving all throughout the postseason, which is that they can win on the road. That if you put their backs against the wall and you put them on the road, they're not that team that's afraid to play away from home. They're not a team that can't win away from home. They're a team that isn't fazed by your fans, your atmosphere, what's going on in your neck of the woods, how far they got to travel. And, I mean, think about it. They didn't just play teams. They played a team where they had to constantly go on the West Coast. They had to go all the way over to Seattle. They had to go all the way over to L.A. It's not like they were playing teams that were an easy ride. This was a long ride from Toronto. So to do what they've done, how they've done it, and to go all the way to the end, and to not win, but to be in extra innings in Game 7, to be in extra innings in Game 3, you look at the games that they lost. It took everything from the Dodgers. The Dodgers had to keep fighting, keep pushing, go beyond it. It's like Toronto, hey, if you're going to beat us, you're going to have to stay here a little bit later, a little bit longer, put a little bit more work in. I mean, Dodgers had to work overtime to beat the Blue Jays. And that says a lot about the Blue Jays. It says a lot about the team that I believed in. It says a lot about the team that I thought, as much as we're talking about the billion-dollar business that the Dodgers have, that Toronto has pitching, Toronto has hitting, Toronto does have bats that light it up, and they do have pitching that can handle business. I mean, Hoffman has done a good job in closing out games. There was so many things that the Blue Jays brought into this series to show people that as much as this came in David versus Goliath, it was 2 prime, strong competitors that were almost dead even with each other. And for the Blue Jays to be spending far less than the Dodgers, and to put together the team that they have, and to have the management that they have, the decision-making that they have, even though Toronto loses this series, I still look to Toronto and say to myself, if they can hold this thing together, if they can keep this thing together, add another piece or two, maybe bring somebody into your rotation, does Toronto become the very dangerous team that staved off the Yankees, that staved off the Red Sox, that handled business in the American League, that rose to the top of the American League, that didn't do what the Orioles have done in the top of the American League, which has become the number 1 seed and phase out in the beginning of the postseason. I mean, the Toronto Blue Jays didn't just represent the AL East, they represented the American as the number 1 team on that side of it. and they didn't crap out, and they looked a hell of a lot better than the Yankees did against the Dodgers in the World Series last year. So as much as
Oh
the
my God,
Dodgers
yeah.
win and you give the Dodgers all the credit in the world, you still look to the Blue Jays and say this was an extremely valiant effort. And if you're going to lose, I mean, this team lost in, round 18 of a fight, and it was just at the end of it, it was one final blow, and then they got back up again and tried to swing one more time. I mean, this was not a team that got knocked out by any stretch of the imagination anyway through the series, and I give them a heck of a lot of credit. I'm happy I picked them. I'm absolutely fine with that prediction. And, for the Dodgers, I respect them. I got to say, I think my favorite Dodger, I like Shohei, and obviously I respect it, but I love watching Freddie Freeman, and I felt that way last year. So, as much as I'm not a Dodger fan, I respect them. And, kudos to them for winning another World Series, for making history, and hopefully Toronto will be back.
They will be. I mean, that's a damn good baseball team. Now, they are going to have to make some changes. They have, Bo Bichette's a free agent. Shane Bieber's a free agent. They might be losing some guys in free agency, but they have proven, if nothing else, in recent years, they have proven that they are willing to spend money.
Yeah.
They've just had a hard time getting guys to come to Canada to pay them that money. Because remember, they were a finalist for Shohei Ohtani. They were, they just gave a big contract to Vlad Jr.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind that they could re-sign Bo Bichette. There's no doubt in my mind that they can go out and get some guys. Like, go bring in a big free agent. They can go get a Framber Valdez or a guy like that. There's no doubt in my mind that they have the money to do it. The only issue is, are the guys going to want to go to Canada? Because the taxes in Canada are a lot higher than they are here. So that's one of the reasons why I think guys are, kind of avoiding going to Toronto to try to avoid those taxes. Now, granted, California is not much better. New York's not much better. But I would love to see them bring in a big-time free agent. They've tried. They tried for Judge. They tried for Ohtani. They're going to try to bring Bo Bichette back. They tried for Soto. They were in on Juan Soto. So, there's no doubt in my mind they're going to be in on some of these big-name free agents. But now with this recent success and getting all the way to the end in the World Series, maybe they get some guys that are like, you know what? I think this is a place that I can win. Let's go to the the Great White North.
Yeah.
And see if we can win a championship.
When you're making millions of dollars and you have an opportunity to win a World Series, I think you can not take that extra $5 million so that you can be part of history. So, but we will.
Absolutely.
And speaking of being part of, we're going to take this part of the show and we're going to have Murph leave us for a moment. We're going to bring in Adrian Autry and we'll be back with Murph in just a few minutes. So stay with us here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora as we shift gears, and Murph will be back momentarily to Adrian Autry, who's going to be joining us here on the broadcast to speak on the Syracuse Orange men's basketball team as we get ready for this 2025-26 season. The first game is tonight of this season, and he will be joining me to speak about this game and more. Adrian Autry on game day, live here on Wake Up Call. So happy to have Adrian here on the broadcast. We'll be bringing him in, like I said, in just a moment. And so we have everything set and ready to go for Adrian. We appreciate you being here inside the Great Lakes Honda City studios. And thank you so much for being a part of the show here where sports meets life. And so I do want to thank you for that, for being with us. On all of our social media, we're constantly adding things on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, and Instagram at wakeupcall_DT. So make sure you go there. You can also go to wakeupcalldt.com, which is our main frame of everything. You go to our website, you will find links to all of our broadcasts and everything that we have going on. So make sure that you get out to wakeupcalldt.com where everything is. And of course, you can go to youtube.com, youtube.com/wakeupcalldt and watch over 5,000 episodes, which is great because for those of you that have YouTube TV that can't watch ESPN right now, you have plenty of stuff to catch up on. Not that you weren't watching Wake Up Call and ESPN together before, but now maybe you could spend some more time in our Wake Up Call library, as we have so many different playlists for our NFL coverage, our Major League Baseball coverage, our college football coverage, as well as Syracuse basketball playlist, the Syracuse football playlist, the ACC playlist, the American playlist, and of course our signature segments, as well as our playlist for Binghamton University, Onondaga Community College, and Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse. So make sure that you check out all of that. That is on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe and hit that notification bell. So Adrian just let us know that he will be a few minutes, and we will bring him on as soon as we can. So we'll take a step aside for a fast break here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. Stay with us.
This is Jim Dispenza, owner of Game Point Sports Complex. You hear the same story across any sport that kids play and any sport that adults play. There's never enough places to play. That was definitely true with volleyball, definitely true with basketball. It could be cheerleading, it could be field hockey, which is what we're seeing now. Every sport has a lack of places to play, and I think Syracuse in particular is a place where it's really bad. Despite the fact that we've got a lot of athletic talent around here, we just seem to have not enough places for people to play, and they're going to different places. They're going to Rochester, they're going to, Buffalo. They're going all different places because we don't have a place here, and I felt like that should change. This was a long project from planning all the way through execution to opening the doors. A lot of work went into it, obviously, a lot of money, a lot of resources, and the dream always was kids being in the gym, having a good time. And I've always felt like sports is the most unfiltered joy that you can observe with people, that people can experience, because it is fun, it is a sense of accomplishment, it's all of that wrapped into one thing. And so watching kids going up and down the court with big smiles on their faces has been just amazing experience. I'm looking forward to years to come of that same thing. We've taken the time to invest in multiple sports, and then what we're finding is the mere fact that we have a large, clean, well-lit space has opened a lot more doors for us beyond basketball, volleyball, pickleball. Now we're having some interest from cheerleading. We've got girls field hockey coming in, and then also there's quite a bit of room for spectators. We've got bleachers, we've got benches, we've got a concession lounge where people can get food and drinks. We're going to have multiple sports going at the same time, using every square inch of this place for what it was conceived for, which is basically people to come in, have a good time in the sport that they prefer. We manage each situation differently. Everybody has different ability to afford different things. Some are bringing 10, 15 people, some are just 2 people. I've had a lot of situations where it's a father shooting around with his son, it's a mother playing pickleball with her daughter or with her son, and in those situations come up and we work with people, and that's allowed us to have groups from 2 people up to 30 people and have some flexible pricing behind it. We're an organization that is here to work with the community any way we can, and I guess part of it is just making sure that we have the flexibility to put together a plan that makes sense regardless of the size of your group. So in order to book time, the best option is to go to our website, gamepointsports-syr.com. You can click from there and sign up for events, sign up for your own particular training, sign up for birthday parties, all of that.
Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McInerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where He just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Brian and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Brian and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Brian's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Brian's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Life gets busy, and sometimes that means us running around. So Canine Camp Dog Daycare offers you an opportunity to give your dog a place to stay while you take care of what you need to throughout the day. Canine Camp Dog Daycare is located on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, New York. You can see it from the highway, and it's just off of Erie Boulevard across from BJ's Wholesale Club. Call 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110 to schedule an appointment to bring your dog in and tour the facility. Appointments are Monday through Thursday after 6:30, where you and your dog can see everything that Canine Camp Dog Daycare has to offer, including a self-serve dog wash and a retail store filled with all of your dog's wants and needs, including food, treats, harnesses, leashes, and more, making Canine Camp Dog Daycare your one-stop shop for your furry-loving friend. Right, Lily?
And welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here with us inside the Great Lakes Honda City studios here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and it is a Syracuse and Binghamton game day as they're going to be facing off against each other. And I want to let you all know that Wake Up Call is going to extend today to a very special bonus Bearcat break room for this week, as I will be airing my special with Lavelle Sanders, the Binghamton Bearcats men's basketball head coach, ushering in the 2025-26 season. We spoke a couple months ago when I was on campus for the Bearcat Takeover, where I broadcasted from the Binghamton University Events Center, where the men's and women's basketball team competes, and had the opportunity to sit down with student athletes and coaches, including Lavelle Sanders, and also athletic director Gene Marshall. And now a couple months later, this special is a multi-layered conversation that gets into so many different things about the makeup of the team, how Lavelle envisions the team for this season, and the fact that they've been trying to get Syracuse on the schedule for years. Happy to do it, as well as his sneaker game, and one of the unique things that he does with his clothing, not just on game day, but every single day. So to get to know Lavelle and the Binghamton Bearcats 2025-26 men's basketball team, make sure that you stay with us on youtube.com and facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, today, November 3rd, at noon Eastern Time. At noon Eastern Time, at lunchtime, you will have the opportunity to hear from Lavelle Sanders going in to game day here as Binghamton opens their season against Syracuse in the Dome. So Lavelle Sanders on game day is right here on Wake Up Call, and that special will air today at noon. So once our normal broadcast of Wake Up Call between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern Time is over, we'll jump right into that broadcast with Binghamton University at noon Eastern Time. So make sure that you stay with us on youtube.com and facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, for that special with Lavelle that you won't find like this anywhere else. Very excited for it. Well, while we have some minutes, while we wait for Adrian, I did want to have a conversation with you and take a look at how things are going on with Syracuse's football team. I will be there for Fran Brown's press conference that he has today, and that will be before the team takes on Miami on the road down in the great state of Florida, our second home of Dan Tortora Broadcast Media. And so, taking a look right now, the fans are confused. And rightly so. The fans are taking a look at things saying, okay, Steve Angeli, 3-1. Ricky Collins Jr., 0-4. Let's go to somebody else and see what they got. They thought it would be Luke Carney, and Fran skipped over Luke Carney, went to Joe Filardi, who is a walk-on to the football team, who's also playing lacrosse at Syracuse. And Filardi comes out. He's 4 for 18, 39 yards. The offense doesn't get going, and it looks extremely simplified and boring, and honestly, kind of a snoozer watching that offense on Friday night on Halloween against North Carolina. He did bring in Luke Carney for a series, and, for just a little bit, and didn't let Luke Carney throw the ball once. And my confusion with what Fran did is, I agree that you need to shift off of Ricky, even just to light a fire under Ricky's pants, right? Because he's 0-4, and the offense wasn't moving, but the defense was playing pretty well at times. And then you don't bring in Luke. You don't bring in Jakari Williams, who has had the longest amount of time with the team, longer than Steve, longer than Ricky, longer than Luke, longer than Joe, longer than Rich, and so on and so forth. And you don't bring in Jakari. You don't even talk about Jakari. We've heard little to nothing about Jakari, who played in the spring game, and Rich also did. And so there's nothing on Jakari Williams. You decide to go over Luke Carney, who was your third string, who you would think if Steve is gone and Ricky's your second and Luke's your third, then without Steve and Ricky moves up, then Luke moves up. And then he doesn't go to Luke. And then he kind of looks like he might go to Luke. And then he forces Luke to there's no passes. Jeff Nixon's offense, there's no passes. And when it comes to Luke Carney. And Luke just simply runs the ball or he hands it off. So we don't really know what Luke can do in the passing game because he's barely passed the ball in the very little time that he's been out there this season. So, I mean, it really doesn't make any sense. I know that the only things that I'm hearing from fans are, what is he trying to do? What is he trying to prove? Is he leaving? Is he running this team into the ground? Nothing, like just sheer confusion and not understanding. And honestly, I think that Fran does owe an explanation as to why he did this, so that people can understand. Because I'm not saying the fans are always right. And I'm not saying that, the people that have pitchforks and torches are ever right. I will say that as someone who's covered this team my entire career of 20 plus years in broadcasting and has grown up watching this team, I'm very confused by what's going on. So I believe we have Adrian, but we have Adrian on audio, not video. So Adrian, can you hear us okay?
I can hear you, but I didn't get an email from you.
Oh, you didn't get an email? All right. So I'm going to send it to you again, and we'll get you set. So give me 1 second. So we're going to resend Adrian the email here. I don't know what is going on with Zoom lately at all, because we had this happen before. With some people, it's totally fine. With others, we sent the email repeatedly. And I think one coach got the email 3 times within a few seconds after it had sent well before. So we're going to send Adrian the email again. We're going to get him set up. This is live radio and video, baby. This is what we do here. So, this is what happens when you go live. So we just sent it over. And so hopefully we'll have Adrian jump on here in just a second. But you did hear from him and for a minute. And if we can't, then we'll bring him on audio-wise and we'll run it through that way. So however we got to do it, we'll bring on Adrian Autry this morning on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We always appreciate Adrian taking time with us over the years as he has, and definitely value the time that we've gotten to spend together. So we'll await and see if we can get Adrian to pop up here on our Zoom feed, and hopefully he will. We'll take a step aside for a fast break, and we'll come back on Wake Up Call right after this.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they're always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
All right, you need to come out here and get yourself the Brooklyn Pickle. I was talking about this with one of my buddies. I was like, yo, there's no better sandwich in the state of New York than the Brooklyn Pickle. And now that I found out that they're going down to North Carolina, we are taking over your taste buds everywhere you are, wherever you're going to be. You need to get yourself out to the Brooklyn Pickle. Pinehurst, you just realized that you found yourself the best sandwich shop that you're ever going to have. This is a glorious moment. It's a blessing to your community. You're welcome. Brooklyn in the house, baby. Go over to the Brooklyn Pickle. You already know what it is.
You heard the man. Head to Brooklyn Pickle Pinehurst on 1788 Old Morgantown Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here with us inside of the Great Lakes Honda City studios. Great Lakes Honda City here with you Monday through Saturday for sales and service. We have Adrian here waiting in the wings, so as soon as we see his video pop up, we will bring him on to the broadcast here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So we're just awaiting that here for Adrian, and then we'll bring him in. But we appreciate you being here, appreciate your patience. For those of you that were waiting to hear from the head of the Syracuse Orange men's basketball team here on the first game of the 2025-26 season on game day, ushering in this campaign, his third as the head coach of the program. So as soon as we get his video to pop up here, we'll be ready to go with Adrian, and we appreciate you for being here with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. And as I see it in the queue, we'll bring in Mr. Autry here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, all decked out in orange. You will see Coach here in just a second here. So there's Coach Autry, red, dressed in orange. So, Coach, how we doing today?
Doing good. How you guys doing?
Doing very well. So, Coach, this being the ushering in of your third season as the head coach of the Orange, and here in 2025-26, once again, we got a lot of new faces. I got to speak with you a couple months ago at the ACC tip-off. What has practice looked like, and what can you say about team development and kind of the unification, the gelling of this team as you got ready for the season?
Well, practice has been super competitive. It's been intense. These guys have really kind of, um, come together quite nicely. Obviously, the first two games, still working on some kinks and consistency, stuff like that. But the practices have been spirited, been very competitive, and they love playing with each other. And it's been exciting to be a part of it. To watch this team, get after it. From July up until this point.
From your first two seasons, offensively and defensively, when you think of scheming and planning, what have you learned from what worked, what didn't work, and kind of how you go into this season? Because obviously you take what's good and you take what didn't work, you tweak it a little bit, maybe you get rid of some stuff. So what does this offense and defensive scheming look like for you as you step forward?
I think offensively, you always have an idea of how you want to play. Certain things don't change, sharing the ball and making the right decisions and trying to play with some pace. But what I've realized in the last couple of years is that, injuries can impact and you have to make some adjustments and change. Yeah. So I think, as a coach, you got to keep an open mind and try to have everything prepared. You want to be, positive and wishful thinking, but, I've been hit my first 2 years with some injuries. So I've had to adjust certain things, little tweaks here and there. But overall, the main thing is, the identity of the offense has always been, and we want to play with pace, have fun, share the basketball, take the best shots possible each time down the court. And defensively, you make some adjustments with your athleticism, your mobility, or lack of, or whatever it may be. And then the identity of your team. You might want to do something, but the identity of your team and things that they are, maybe not as good at, and that's what you want to do. You have to adapt to that. So adaptability in the big picture, being able to adapt as a coach my first 2 years, I think I've really learned that.
You talked about pace, and when you first became the head coach, talked about maybe going a little bit faster. How do you see this now? Is it, hey, we want to work in that half-court offense and be systematic and bring that clock down, as we've seen some Syracuse teams do in the past? Is it still speed it up? Is it a little bit of both? How do you see it?
Well, I think when you play man to man, that increases the speed of the game and the possessions just by playing man for us, as opposed to the teams in the past. But we want to take the best shot we can take, the shots that we work on, right? The things that we can create, swinging the ball, being able to create different. Create closeouts, the type of shots that we want to take. Those are the things that we really try to focus on. And that doesn't really, matter what the time on the clock is until you get to the late game situations. And now you want to manage it. And now that late game execution comes into play. But overall, it's the way we want to manufacture our points. And I don't think that's the time on that. If we get an early shot in early, we want to take those.
And you spoke about injuries in your first two seasons as head coach, and obviously that gives you the opportunity to look at your team depth. So what can you say about depth at each position this season as we step forward?
Well, my first 2 years, having some injuries take place, we really put an emphasis on trying to have some versatility and depth with this year's team. And I think, for the most part, we did a really good job. And the versatility part was really what stands out. Guys that can play multiple positions. So, we got three centers, but we could have a fourth in Donnie. So, so we feel like we're pretty good at that position. Now, when you go swing down to the forwards, you talk about Tyler Betsy, you talk about Nate King, you talk about, Sadiq White and Donnie Freeman. Again, so now you feel like you got 3 or 4 there. And then when you go to the guards, and even Kai and Anthony, in the squeeze, if you want to play a 3-guard lineup, which we are doing this year, that allows us to kind of have, everything covered. And if we do have some injuries or sustain some people that kind of have to sit a day or a game or two, we have enough to fill in.
Yeah, you spoke about playing a 3-guard situation as well. I mean, what does that look like for you, and to go a little bit deeper into when you would institute something like that and take a look at these 3 guards and just why you feel like that would be good to have on the floor with the talent that you have?
Well, we have 3 guards now, and typically out there. All of our guys can all dribble, pass, and shoot. So I think that was the biggest thing, and it allows us to have multiple ball handlers and be able to play a little bit faster. Now, what we have to do, when you have multiple guys handling the ball, they all have to value the basketball, and we have to keep our turnovers down low, which we did the last exhibition game. And we got better in that as opposed to the first exhibition game. So again, when you have multiple ball handlers, I think it makes you, harder to defend. It's 2 or 3 guys that can make some plays, or that can make shots, or that can get into the lane. That's difficult to defend.
When you look at that, we talk about a Nate George, J.J. Starling, Cayenne Anthony. They're not all the same. Obviously, you bring them on for different reasons. And like you said, guys can play multiple, and you keep going back to the word versatility. When you see, when a defense is to see a Nate, Cayenne, and JJ at the same time, what type of problem does that create? I mean, why are you happy? We always talk about having a junkyard dog, but to have them on your side, not on the other side. So what's it like having these 3 dogs on the same team on the court at the same time, and how they play off each other?
I mean, I think it opens up the floor. It gives us a lot of space, and it gives them some space to work and be creative and do things, from an offensive standpoint. It really just balloons the floor because you have to guard all 3 of those guys. Those guys are all threats. You cannot. They all can shoot it. They all can, put pressure on the rim. So it really opens up the floor.
And then as far as Donnie Freeman, we saw him, you talk about injuries last year, went down with an injury. People were really excited about him as a true freshman. He decides to come back, and for him, it's go to work. When I talked with him about it, it was like it wasn't even a thought. Of course, I'm coming back and I'm doing this. What is it like having him, and have you already seen leadership come through him, even though he's a young player?
Oh, I'm super excited for Donnie to be back here. He's grown tremendously. He's had a really good summer. I think he's one of the best young talents and young versatile forwards in the country, not just here, but in the country. Just super excited about his progress, his maturity. Him being 100% healthy with that year under his belt, being able to play some games, but also being able to kind of go through that storm that I would say that we went through last year and getting a chance to see it. So I think he's just come back, and I'm really excited for him and what the type of season he's going to have for us.
And Adrian, before I let you go, we look at the fact that we're opening this season against Binghamton. I spoke with Lavelle Sanders, the head coach there. He said he's wanted to get this on the schedule for a while. Your teams are only separated by an hour on 81, probably 3 hours now with all the construction, but an hour typically. So what are your thoughts about playing Binghamton and having Lavelle and the Bearcats come into the Dome to start off the season?
You want to talk about schedule philosophies, and I know that this is probably his best team that he's had since he's been there. I know Lavelle. I know his teams are going to be tough. They're going to be physical. So this is a really good challenge for us and a good game for us. And obviously being upstate, having that upstate kind of camaraderie, that'll be good to have both programs competing upstate. But this is going to be a challenging game for us. We're excited to play this game. We're excited for the season. So, this is going to be a good game.
And you and I have talked for over a decade, and, we've gotten to know each other professionally and personally. Your first 2 seasons, there's adversity. People want to win. At the end of Jim Boeheim, there was the adversity, right? People want to get back to the tournament. What do you want to say to the fans? Because I feel like a lot of people speak for you, Adrian, but I think the only person speaking for Adrian Autry should be Adrian Autry. So what would you like to say to the fans?
I'll say, like I said in my press conference, this is a new year, a new team, new opportunities. We don't shy away, and I don't shy away from what the goal is, we're playing and competing to win games and compete for championships. So we're excited about it. This group can do it. I'm excited about this group right here. We've really worked hard, and the biggest thing is that I want us to do it together to make this community proud, to make this community, be able to celebrate and be proud of our team and our program. We represent not only ourselves, we represent our university, and we represent this community. And I'm just excited for us to get out there today and start this season. I'm sure, we'll make this community proud. This group of guys will make this community proud.
Jim Boeheim had an Anthony. Now you have an Anthony. What does that mean to you? How crazy that is that Cayenne is playing basketball collegiately right now.
That I'm old. I'm old now. It's exciting though. Cayenne is, he's a fine young man, and I'm excited to coach him and to keep developing him and challenging him. And he comes in, he listens and he works hard, and so it's been fun. And I'm excited, and I wanted the challenge to play a part in his development. And I'm excited that he's here.
Final two notes here. First one, Adrian, just what you've learned about yourself over these first couple of years. You had never been a head coach before. You and I sat at Borio's restaurant, and you sat to my left, and you said, the goal is to be a head coach someday. And when I talked to you about that at ACC Tip-Off, I didn't even get it out of my mouth, and you said it because you remembered that. So when we go back to that moment of you and I just having a fireside chat about it, and now it's real, first and foremost, again, congratulations to have this opportunity. But for you, what have you learned about you? How does Adrian Autry step into year 3 a little bit differently than he stepped into year 1 and 2?
More experience, understanding, being able to go through some adversity and some trials, and obviously disappointment. All of those things, I looked at as a time to learn and to really figure out, who I am and what's important and what's not important. Some things that you might have thought were important may not be as important. And I come into this season, very confident in leading a program and leading this group of men, these young men, and being able to really have conviction and belief of what we're going to accomplish this year. Being able to, bounce off the last 2 years, those experiences, and knowing how to lead, right? Being able to lead through good times, being able to lead through bad times, or trouble times, or obstacles. So I'm just a better leader, just through those experiences. I'm just a better leader, and I'm just ready and super excited for to get this season started. As you can tell, I've said that a couple of times. I'm ready for this group, ready for this season to go. And if you don't have excitement, enthusiasm, and passion, that's you got to have that. And I think those, the first 2 years, that's a result of me just really, growing as a leader and as a coach.
That coming here from Adrian Autry. The last note is Lawrence Moulton. You and I spoke about him on and off the air at the ACC Tip-Off. Are there any plans or anything you can tell us on how Syracuse's team will honor your teammate Lawrence Moulton this season?
Well, as right now, we plan on continually honoring him with the shooting shirts, and we're going to put a patch on our uniform in his remembrance this year.
So with that being said, poetry in motion, poetry in Moulton. We know that he's going to be living on with Adrian Autry and the crew. Adrian, as always, it's a great time to talk with you. I appreciate you taking some time on game day here, and I will see you at the Dome in a few hours as we get set for what many people have been waiting a year for, which is to get back to basketball. So I look forward to it.
Look forward to it, Dan. Nice talking. See you tonight.
All right, take care. Have a good day. We'll see you soon. That coming from Adrian Autry. One more time, we'll see him tonight with the Orange, and that will be at 7 p.m., the tip-off between Syracuse and Binghamton going on tonight in the Dome to usher in the season for both the Bearcats as well as the Syracuse Orange. That is all coming up here, and I can't wait. In Central New York, I will be there on site, on location, and you know that Isaac Elford and I will be giving you a little video, a little primer to get you ready for this upcoming game. But Adrian Autry joining us here this morning on Wake Up Call Live, and at noon Eastern Time, a special broadcast with Lavelle Sanders. So you will hear from both sides as Syracuse and Binghamton open their season against each other just an hour apart in upstate New York in the Dome at 7 p.m. here on Monday, November 3rd. We will take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, Brendan Murphy's back for the final hour as we will discuss college football and sports cards. And I'm sure we'll have a bunch of thoughts on college football and where everything is at right now, so stay with us.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942.
Recording stop.
And tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge, and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item, available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpazpopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpazpopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jim Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Avicoli's restaurant, located on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, has been serving our community for decades. Your place to go for home cooking on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road is just minutes from Liverpool High School. And every single month, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is on site, on location, with Liverpool sports, student athletes, coaches, and administration telling their stories throughout the year. We look forward to seeing you on site at Avicoli's for their casual pizza side, their fine dining, as well as their bar. And of course, you can order online at myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. For takeout, delivery, and catering, call 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. Come on into the neighborhood spot Avicoli's, open 7 days a week in Liverpool, New York. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is your home away from home for your furry-loving friends. Open 7 days a week with drop-off and pickup times in the morning and later on in the day and early evening. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is the spot to trust with your dog for short and long-term stays. Call 315-299-4013 for more information. That's 315-299-4013, and go to k9campground.com as well. That's K9, ground.com, where you will find all of the information on their different cabins, which include the classic cabin, executive cabin, grand cabin, and luxury cabin. K9 Campground Dog Boarding, where your dog will have indoor and outdoor areas as well as their own private cabin for any size, any breed, as well as dogs with different needs. Dog parents and dogs alike choose K9 Campground Dog Boarding. Isn't that right, Lily? Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, who you just heard from. Murphalation Station for the Nation is back, and we're going to bring him back into the broadcast here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We thank you for being with us inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. And as Murph is back on the broadcast here, it's time for us to talk about college football going into Week 11. Well, college football, to let you know where things are at. College football, as we take a look at the rankings that came out on Sunday, and we know that the first college football playoff rankings will officially be with us this Tuesday night. I will be on the conference call for the college football playoff as we bring in the college football playoff committee's first ranking, and they'll continue to come each Tuesday through November, and then as we go into December, it will shift to Sunday for the final ranking, and that'll let us know in early December who is going to be in the college football playoff and who's going to have those first round buys and how things are going to shape out, what matchups we're going to have, and what path for each of the teams of the 12 that would be inside of the college football playoff. So with Murph coming back here, we have the rankings. Number 1, and this is in the AP and the coaches poll. Number 1, Ohio State. Number 2, Indiana. Number 3, Texas A&M. Number 4, Alabama. Number 5, Georgia. Number 6, Oregon. Number 7, Ole Miss. Number 8, BYU. Number 9, Texas Tech. Number 10, Notre Dame. The top 10 are exactly the same in the AP and the coaches poll. I cannot understand why Notre Dame is in the top 10. I can't. It doesn't make any sense to me. Their quality losses are going with their one quality win, and somehow they're being counted as 3 wins. I don't understand it. And the win over Miami means less now because you go by how a team ends up, not how they officially start, right? Because a win over Florida when they were ranked 15 is not the same as right now. A win over Clemson when they were 10 is not the same as right now. A win over Florida State when they were 10 is not the same as right now. A win over Illinois, who was 9, is not the same as right now. So I don't get the Notre Dame thing. I have my own thoughts, but Murph, the top 10 is exactly the same between the AP and the coaches poll. Do you agree or disagree? And if you disagree, where? If you agree, where?
Well, I'm with you on the Notre Dame thing. I don't like them being in the top 10. I mean, honestly, I would put Texas as the best 2-loss team right now, personally.
Yep.
Having the win over Oklahoma handily, just beating Vanderbilt this past week, who was a top 10 team.
Yeah.
For me, Texas is number 10, personally. And I also don't understand why they're not ahead of Oklahoma. Doesn't make any sense.
Because they beat Oklahoma.
But as for the rest of the top, exactly.
Yeah.
And they have the same record. They won head to head. So as for the rest of the top 10, I don't really have a problem with anything. We're gonna have a really fun matchup next week in BYU and Texas Tech, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really have an issue with the rest of the top 10. Georgia did not look good against Florida. So to me, they're a team that I am perfectly fine with Alabama being ahead of them. Alabama also won head-to-head, so that's part of the reason why. Ole Miss still looks good. No problem with them being where they are. Maybe I could sneak them ahead of Oregon, but I'm not completely sold on that. Oregon's got a tough game this week against Iowa.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun to watch.
Yeah.
Part of my issues really just lie later in the rankings, like as you get into, lower down, further down in the top 25. But top 10, like I said, my really my only main issue is Notre Dame, and I'm with you on that. So, they beat Boston College pretty handily. Navy just lost.
Yeah.
Their first game, so
to an 8-1 team, by the way.
We'll see what happens. Yeah. So Navy just lost their first game, so we'll see what happens next week with Notre Dame and Navy. I'm kind of still questioning. Well, I'll save that part for later. Well, I'll let you go further down the list. But for me, it's Notre Dame's my only big issue in the top 10.
Yeah, let me give you some thoughts here on where I stand on this top 10. So I do not understand why an Ohio State team that has one quality win, is ranked 1 overall. Now, they beat a Texas team in week 1. A Texas team that's been all over the place. A Texas team that looked really good against Vanderbilt. And a Texas team that looks like at times the offense had completely fallen asleep. This Texas team has been out of the college football playoff, in the college football playoff, out of the college football playoff, in the college football playoff. So Ohio State being number 1, I don't agree with. Texas A&M is undefeated, but their schedule hasn't been that difficult. And when you look at Texas A&M and you break down their schedule, you say, okay, you beat LSU, and what's my rule? You fire your head coach during the season, that's not a good team. All right? No good team's going to fire their coach, let alone fire their coach during the season. If you fire your coach mid-season, I don't consider anybody beating you a good win. Unless your coach...
I feel like LSU's a slight exception to that rule, though, because it seemed like there was more to that situation than meets the eye.
Well, and here's the thing.
The losses is what basically triggered it,
right.
But it sounds like they wanted nothing to do with Brian Kelly, win or lose.
Right.
I think that's the one exception to that rule.
Well, and this is the caveat, and that's what I was going to get to, is if you're in a situation where it's just, there's something that's going on with the coach, it's a bad locker room, it's unhealthy, the coach does something wrong. I'm not saying that Brian Kelly did. I'm just saying, if you're in a situation where you're in an unhealthy environment, then, sometimes changing your coach mid-season can be a good thing. It can be a wake-up call, pun fully intended. And now they beat Notre Dame, who I still don't think is a good team. I'll call Notre Dame a top 20 team, but I'm not going to call them a top 10 team. Not right now. They struggled against Boston College on the road. They beat an unranked Boston College team. They beat USC, who's not that good this year. And then they almost won against Texas A&M, and they almost won against Miami. And I'm sorry, but, well, I'm not sorry, that quality losses mean nothing to me until I work through everything that you've done. We go to wins first, the quality of your wins. And then once I get to the bottom of the barrel and I'm trying to decide who are my last few teams that are going to get in, I'm going to look at quality wins over quality losses. If I have to go to quality losses, that's pretty sad. But Notre Dame is hanging their hat on the fact that they almost beat 2 teams that are okay, that are pretty good. But looking at Texas A&M's schedule, UTSA, Utah State, those were non-factors. Auburn is a spoiler. They were able to stave that off 16-10. Mississippi State, they handled easily. Florida, they handled easily. Arkansas, who has been a team that I think, again, with Bobby Petrino, I fully believe that he's going to take over that program. So, they beat them on the road 45-42. They were able to blow out LSU, and LSU was ranked. But,
in Death Valley of all places.
Right. But when I look at Texas A&M, they don't have the win pedigree that Alabama has right now. And the thing that hits Alabama...
They got the... Go ahead, yeah.
No, I'm going to say Alabama beat Georgia, Vanderbilt, Missouri, Tennessee in a row. They beat Georgia at Georgia. They beat Vanderbilt. They beat Missouri at Missouri, who I don't think is a great team this year, but still a team that, was ranked inside of the SEC. And I think that, I talk about Big Ten teams being overranked. I think Missouri this year in the SEC has been overranked, but they got that win. I don't consider it as high as the Tennessee win or the Vanderbilt win or the Georgia win. And, I mean, they've run the table since they lost to Florida State. That loss at Florida State, again, Florida State started the season, and this is where I challenge people. Florida State started the season ranked in the nation's top 10. But when people talk about you can't put Alabama over Indiana, you can't put Alabama over Ohio State, and I say why? And they say they
Not
lost
this year.
They say they lost to a really bad Florida State team. And I say, okay, but remember when you said that Illinois was number 9. Remember that. Because beating a not good team and losing to a not good team, okay, beating a not good team, it doesn't give you much. Losing to a not good team, yeah, that affects you. But don't talk about Illinois being good when you beat them when you want to say that the loss to Florida State is a bad loss. The only reason why people are saying that is because what they did after. Florida State was a top 10 team, top 8 team. What they did after was fall. And
Not this year.
What'd you say?
They got ranked after the win. They were unranked to start the year.
I'm saying what they became and what they are, getting that win, getting up there, what they've done since then is they have dropped off the face of the earth. And so that the argument against Alabama is, yeah, you're 7-0 since then, but you lost to a bad team. And they weren't a bad team after week 1.
Loss.
What'd you say? What'd you say?
Yeah, that was a bad loss.
Right, it's a bad loss. But it's a bad loss because of what Florida State became. Not because of what they were, but because of what they became. Which is my same argument for Illinois. It's not a good win over Illinois because look at what they've become. So if Florida State's not a good team, then losing to them is really bad. And if Illinois is not a good team, then beating them really doesn't matter. I mean, beating Illinois, in my opinion, right now is like beating Maryland. It's a non-factor to me.
I honestly kind of liked what we were talking about last week with using the college basketball rules.
Yeah, the quads.
For this. The more I've thought about it, the more I'm starting to think, yeah, this is a good, I like that idea a lot. So,
Because
if you go based off of that, that's a bad loss for Alabama. Was Illinois a good win for Indiana?
No.
I mean, it's not nothing, but it's not a good win.
It's not a good win.
I mean, it's not like you're beating...
You're beating a team that I would consider
it's not like
35th
you're beating,
to 40th.
It's not like you're beating Appalachian State.
No, but you're beating a team
It's
that
not
I
like
would
you're beating
probably...
Appalachian State.
I would rank Illinois 35th to 40th in the country right now. It's not a top 25 win anymore. It's a quad 3. Yeah, it's
that's fine.
It's a non-factor to me. The biggest thing that Indiana
it's not a great win, but it's also not a bad. It's not like you're blowing out a terrible team. Like,
it's doing what the Big Ten does every year. It's beating teams that are non-factors. It's beating teams that have nothing to do with national anything. And Illinois, you could tell me they beat Rutgers this week. I don't care because, in my opinion, I think most teams are going to beat Rutgers every year in the Big Ten. So
Rutgers, oh my God, they stink, dude.
This is what I will say. Indiana won at Oregon. I respect it. Indiana won at Iowa. I respect it. Ohio State beat Texas. I respect that. Texas A&M beat LSU on the road. I respect that. If Alabama was undefeated right now and they had actually beaten Florida State, there is no doubt in my mind that they would be a unanimous number 1.
Absolutely.
Because of everything they did.
No one would argue with you on that.
Right.
Absolutely nobody would argue with you on that.
But I put Texas A&M behind Indiana because I think Indiana has 2 quality wins and I think Texas A&M has 1. Now, because 2, but they have.
I still think LSU's a decent win. It's a better win than Illinois.
Right.
But it's not as good as beating Notre Dame, who we both agree is probably a top 20 team.
Like I look at it like this. Beating Iowa and beating Oregon right now, I consider better than beating LSU and beating Notre Dame. Because Notre Dame has 1 quality win. And I feel like Iowa-Oregon is going to be huge this week. And depending on how that thing shakes out, if those teams, play 30-something to 30-something or whatever it may be, and they go to overtime, and they're fighting in overtime, then that looks even better for Indiana because now you got 2 high-octane teams that are beating up on each other. but, nobody's blowing the other team out. If Oregon blows out Iowa or vice versa, that affects Indiana. But here's my argument. Okay, I can't put Oregon over Indiana because Indiana beat them. I can't put Georgia over Alabama because Georgia beat them, or because Alabama beat them. I got BYU over Texas Tech because BYU's undefeated and Texas Tech has a loss, but they're going to figure that thing out this week when they play each other.
I can't wait for that. That'll be a fun game.
Because that very well can decide the Big 12.
How far does BYU move up if they win that game? If they win that game handily, like if they win that game by 2 scores.
Well, I mean,
do they move up to 5?
It depends on what everybody else does. Like, I can see them moving above Oregon, because Oregon's playing Iowa. But when we look at the schedule here, and that's because Iowa's not ranked in one poll and they're ranked at the bottom of the other poll. But if we look at who's playing who, Indiana's playing Penn State. Penn State's a non-factor this year. I know people will say the pageantry and the name and all that garbage, but they're winless in the Big Ten. That's not a good team. If you beat a winless team, it's like beating Rutgers, and you have to treat Penn State as Rutgers this year. You have to treat Penn State as Purdue this year. They have the same record in the Big Ten, which is 0% of wins.
Yeah.
So you have to treat them the same this year. They got to stop doing this. Well, it's Penn State. That's ridiculous and it's stupid. And
it's still a better win than it would still be a better win than Rutgers, but yeah.
But
it's
I think Rutgers. I think they've won a game. So I mean, we look at Georgia and Mississippi.
Yeah, but
State.
I would still take Penn State over Rutgers head to head.
Well, we'll
by
see
a lot.
We'll see. I mean, Penn State has.
And hey, I'll give Penn State some credit. They were in the game with Ohio State through the first half. It was a game until about halfway through the third quarter, and then Ohio State kind of stepped on the gas and pulled away.
Yeah, well, I mean, Ohio State's known to do that. So we look at
that's true.
We look at Georgia and Mississippi State. So, and then BYU is playing Texas Tech, as we mentioned. I'm just going down the line here to take a look at Ohio State's playing Purdue, which is garbage. Ole Miss is playing the Citadel, whatever. So,
well, if we remember our little exercise that we did last week,
Texas A&M's playing
that has changed a lot.
What?
That little exercise we did last week with the playoff, that has changed a lot.
Yeah, because Miami lost.
Because Miami lost, Vanderbilt lost, Georgia Tech lost.
I still like Vanderbilt, but if we look at the matchups, which is what I was going through here on the schedule, here inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, just because you asked me a question about BYU, Ole Miss is playing the Citadel. Oregon is playing Iowa, who should be ranked higher. They should have been ranked. I've argued that Iowa...
I don't know how they're not ranked right now.
Iowa should have taken the place of Illinois because Illinois did not end up being good. Iowa did, and Iowa hasn't been ranked all year, and Illinois was ranked for multiple weeks. So
get Tennessee out of there and get Iowa in there. I would flip-flop those two teams, put Iowa at 23.
So I actually think arguably they should be higher because, I don't think Missouri's had a good year. But
20? 19?
I would putting Iowa at least 20. And I think that matchup, I think that would be fair.
I think I opened your eyes to Iowa a little bit this year.
Well, I mean, I did my research. I went back and I did my research when I was breaking down who Indiana played and who I consider to be quality. When I looked at Iowa, I said, I have to give credence to Iowa. I'm not going to give it for Illinois because Illinois is not a
They're a much better team than people give them credit for.
But Iowa's been really good. I got a special that I did with Tim Lester. That's going to air as a special presentation this week. It's actually going to go up today, so you'll be able to watch it again. And he's the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach of Iowa, and they're definitely looking forward to having Oregon in town at Kinnick Stadium, which seats almost 70,000 people, and they said it's been sold out for years upon years upon years. So looking at, when we talk about the stadium, looking at the top 10, Ohio State is not my one because that Texas win, it goes up and down. Texas A&M's not my one because I don't think that they've...
Wait. Does that mean you're there's only one of two teams that you can put at number one at that
Ohio
point.
State is not my one because they have one quality win and it fluctuates. Texas A&M is not my one because I don't think they've done as much as the team that I'm putting number 1 this week, which is Indiana.
I think it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh.
Yeah.
What? Folks, stop the presses. We've got a new wake-up call number 1.
Yeah.
Oh, I have been waiting for this. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I was thinking to myself, like, there's only one team. There's only really one team that you could put up.
I would gladly put Alabama,
because
but
as much as I'd like to,
the Florida State, that Florida State black eye is why I'm not putting Alabama there yet. I can't.
Like, I totally agree. Like, Alabama with a loss versus Indiana with that's undefeated. I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you that Indiana should be the number 1 team. Do I think they are the best team in college football? No. Yeah. I still think Alabama is probably the best team in college football. But if you're ranking based off of all of that information that we've just talked about, then Indiana should be number 1.
Yeah. You want to know my top?
They have better wins than the other 2.
You want to know my top 10?
I do.
Going into college football week 11, this is my top 10 here, the wake-up call poll. Number 1, Indiana. Number 2, Ohio State. Number 3, Texas A&M, just because I consider that Texas win to be a little bit better than what Texas A&M has shown me up to this point. Number 4, Alabama. Number 5, Georgia, because Alabama beat them. Number 6, I moved Ole Miss above Oregon because Ole Miss has done more than I've seen Oregon do. Number 7, Oregon. Number 8, BYU, which could change this week. Number 9, Texas Tech. And number 10, Texas.
Love it. Love it.
And that's the thing, and that's what I tell these fans. I'm like, listen, I don't hate your team. I don't hate your school. I don't hate your conference. I'm factually checking information, and I'm asking you to think. I'm asking you to take off your rose-colored glasses and just walk with me down, because the onslaught of Indiana fans that flipped out on me, I said you weren't 1 or 2, but you didn't ask me where I had you. I had you at between 3 and 4. So we were fighting.
Well, now you have them at number 1.
We were fighting between
all of those Indiana fans that were coming at you in the comments. Owe you an apology.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because again, folks, this is fluid. Every week something can happen. So I took a stand based on factual evidence, not because I hate Indiana, not because I'm uneducated, not because of all the vile crap that people threw at me that should go see a therapist, because if that's how you talk to a stranger, you need to seek God and you need to get on a couch somewhere. But no, if you attack people, Murph, if you attack people and you attack their credibility, attack who they are as a human being, call them names, you need to go see a therapist. And therapy, there's nothing wrong with therapy. You need to go see a therapist. You need to talk to Jesus. You need to get down on your knees, go to church, go to a priest, go sit with Dr. Finkelstein, because attacking another human being...
Dr. Finkelstein.
You should. Attacking another human being, especially when you're that uneducated. Like, the majority of people that came at me were uneducated, because I was asking them to look at factual evidence, which I wasn't wrong. You have 2 quality wins, at Oregon, at Iowa. Illinois is not. And the record of the teams that they went up against in the Big Ten, their opponents in the Big Ten this season, going into this past week, 35-35. Their opponents, that was overall. Their record in conference, 14-29. They've played an average or below average schedule based on how these teams have performed. The majority of the teams on their schedule have been at the equator or below the equator. Okay? The best team that they played out of, like Indiana State, just beat, in the FCS, they just had a big win. So congratulations. It's still an FCS opponent. So when you look at Indiana's schedule, which was my whole argument, I said this schedule does not merit me calling you 1 or 2. It doesn't. But because of the things that have happened up to this point, and because I'm not impressed by Ohio State up to this point, and because Texas A&M hasn't done enough up to this point, the people that lost their minds and screamed vile for a week and a half, now you're going to see I have Indiana number 1 because you don't do the job that I do. Don't pretend that you do. Because the job that I do is every single week, anything can change. It is a liquid form. It is a fluid situation. The team I have at 15 can be number 1 next week, and then you're going to be eating your words. So take a step back, talk to Jesus, because he loves you, and he's not going to tell you to just scream at people and say vile things. I mean, I responded to people who agreed with me and were still yelling at me. They were screaming at me that the Oregon win was a good win. And what did I put at the beginning of my statement? I said the Oregon win was the good win. That was the one. So I'm not going to attack them back. Okay? I don't appreciate the vile.
There's no reason to, yeah.
Right. I don't appreciate the vile. I didn't read your negative stuff, and anybody that personally attacked me or the credibility of my life, I mean, you've probably been kicked off. But the people that wanted to have a genuine conversation, which I had some with, you know, we went back and forth, and they liked my post. You know, a lot of people responded to me and said, if this is how you feel about Indiana, then why do you think Ohio State's number 1? And my response was, I never said they were. So the world said they were. The country said they were. I didn't say they were. And this week, Indiana fans that lost your mind over what I had to say, I have you at number 1. So it's kind of like halt and don't catch fire. You know, take a breath and realize that things can change in an instant. Okay, Miami lost. Okay, Alabama's loss to Florida State holds weight with me. Okay, Georgia losing to Alabama keeps them behind Alabama. Okay, Oregon is if they have the same record as Indiana, then they're going to be behind Indiana because they lost head-to-head. Head-to-head matters to me. I think Ole Miss is a really dangerous team. I still think Vanderbilt's a dangerous team. Virginia's the highest-ranked ACC team, and I don't agree with that. I think Louisville is a better team, and I would not want to play Louisville right now of anybody in the ACC, and I warned you about Louisville in the preseason. I said, don't be surprised if there's a red team in the ACC championship, either SMU or Louisville, and they both have the opportunity to get there. And I also said, don't sleep on SMU, even though SMU had 3 losses. I said, don't sleep on SMU. And I went to the wire and almost picked them against Miami, and I should have, because they did what I know Rhett Lashley is capable of. They won. So, I mean, what do I tell you every year? What have I said this year, last year, the year before? Miami always trips. They always trip. And I don't want to hear anybody talk to me about Miami getting in the college football playoff, because they have not.
They're done.
They haven't earned the right
to
be there. Like Georgia Tech.
No chance.
Georgia Tech just had their first loss, and they want to put Georgia Tech in a place like, you know, you're just barely above Miami, and now Utah's crept up. Now, if the college football playoff happened today, in no specific order, once again, in no specific order, so do not tell me that this is my 1, 2, whatever, I would have Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia, Oregon, Ole Miss, BYU, Texas is what I'd be looking at right now. I'm not looking at notes. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
That's 9.
So my other 3, I would look at Oklahoma. I would look at Louisville. I would look at Vanderbilt. I'd look at Georgia Tech.
Well, remember, we still need a group of 5 team.
And I would also, at this point, I'd look at Memphis. I mean, those would be the
at this
teams
point,
I'm
it's probably either going to be it's either going to be Memphis or James Madison at this point.
Yeah, but those are the teams that I would be looking at. I'm unimpressed by Michigan. I'm unimpressed by USC. I'm unimpressed by Missouri. I'm unimpressed by Miami. You know, I see a world where Oklahoma makes it, but you have to put Texas in. So I do see a world where we're going to have 5 or 6 SEC schools. I do see that. I think at worst we're going to have 5. I think at worst it's going to be Texas A&M. If things continue to move forward positively, Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, and then Texas. And then I'm looking at Vanderbilt and Oklahoma as the 6th team. I really honestly believe we're going to have 5 SEC schools almost half of the field is going to be the SEC this year.
Might even be 6.
Yeah. And
Very well could be.
My 6th.
I don't know if you guys heard my dog in the background. She was just going absolutely crazy.
No, we did not hear.
Okay, yeah, good. She was going nuts right now. But yeah, I mean, realistically, you'll still have that group of 5 team that's going to make it somewhere. It's probably depend. I think if they win the American, it's probably Memphis. If not, it's probably going to end up being either Navy or James Madison. What conference is James Madison in?
Sun Belt.
Sun Belt. Okay.
They were in Conference USA.
So,
they moved.
That's because I looked at Conference USA and they weren't there. I'm like, wait a minute, what conference are they in?
Yeah, they moved. They moved with Marshall and Old Dominion and the Sun Belt. Sun Belt actually has some pretty awesome teams. They got a lot of teams that have played spoiler over the years. And so, I mean, the Sun Belt's no slouch. I mean, they pushed the American for sure. But if the American had their championship today, it would be Navy. It would be Navy Memphis. But North Texas has something to say about that. And Tulane's not out of it yet, but we'd be looking at like a Navy Memphis, and then in the Sun Belt, we would be looking at James Madison versus Southern Miss. So if we say James Madison wins the Sun Belt, and then if Memphis wins the American, then they're in. But if Navy wins the American and James Madison wins the Sun Belt, that might be a toss-up.
Yeah. It could be, and it's kind of a pick your poison to determine who makes it to the playoff at that point.
Can I tell you what's going to decide it, though?
I'm excited.
Navy's playing Notre Dame this week.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Navy beats Notre Dame. I'm going to tell you right now, if Navy beats Notre Dame...
Top 10. Up that list.
Let's calm down on that.
Hey,
top 20.
If Texas Tech, BYU or Texas Tech is going to lose. If Navy beats Notre Dame, then they need to be right.
They're not going to the top 10.
They need to be right there, just outside.
I put them at like
if
17.
If Notre Dame is 12 for doing nothing, and now they're up to 10 for beating one team, again, Notre Dame has 2 quality losses and 1 quality win. That's 2 quality losses and 1 quality win.
If Navy was still undefeated, then yeah, top 10 makes sense. But with the 1 loss, I wouldn't put them higher than like 15.
But think about how high they have Notre Dame.
I know.
So I'm telling you right now.
To me, Notre Dame would be out of the top 25 at that point.
If Navy beats Notre Dame, then Notre Dame with 3 losses and nothing to show for itself should be out of the top 25, and Navy at worst should be 15, in my opinion. Because there's not enough teams right now.
Folks, I do not believe that Navy is going to beat Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame is going to beat them pretty handily. But if they do lose and Navy beats them, I wouldn't put them higher than 15. But yes, like they need to be in the top 25. They need to be close to, the point where you're going to be in the playoff. Realistically, they would all they would have to do is just play their, if they win out, they're in the playoff.
Well, and I'll tell you this: the committee.
And they may not even be 12. They might even be 11 or 10.
No, the committee is going to look at if Navy were to beat Notre Dame, then they will fly above Memphis. And as long as they take care of business, if Navy plays Memphis or whoever in the American Championship, and if Navy beats Notre Dame, wins out, and including that American Championship, then Navy absolutely.
They might be 10.
Is going to claim their spot. So,
Because I don't know, I think the winner of the ACC would be the 5th team. They might be, Navy might end up being 11 or 10. So I think whoever wins the ACC would probably be your 12 seed. Yeah. And then Navy's probably your 11 or 10 seed.
Well, by the way, if the ACC championship happened today, Virginia versus Georgia Tech. And the question is, with
Virginia all day, man.
With Virginia at 12, by the way, who's Virginia's quarterback? Chandler Morris. Where is he from? North Texas. It's like the American shows...
No idea who that is.
Well, he's their quarterback. It shows up... This is the thing. When I hear people talk about and highly tout this team and love that team and give this team kudos and that team kudos, the Americans' footprints are all over these quote-unquote power conferences. And also, Mendoza, the guy that people love at Indiana, he came off a bad Cal team last year. So a team that was at the bottom of the ACC, give Cal some love. And I mean, Mendoza came from there. And Mendoza, he still had some good numbers last year. So, you look at Indiana and you say, okay, I mean, what would they be without the guy from Cal? So, I mean, there's something to be said about these teams that people overlook, like a North Texas, like a Cal, like a Memphis, because when these players end up somewhere else, all of a sudden it's like, oh, they're so good. Why are they good? And it's like, well, because they went and found somebody that somebody else found before, which I don't like. I don't want schools to be farm systems or conferences to be farm systems. By the way, the Pac-12 will not play for a championship because there's only 2 teams. And by the way, they just played each other, which was great. I think Oregon State and Washington State should play each other in the championship game. Oregon State won.
Why not?
They should. By the way, Oregon State is 2-7, but they beat Washington State. So, and the Mountain West, which has San Diego State, Boise State, Fresno State, that are all going to be joining the Pac-12, and I believe Utah State and Colorado State as well.
I think a 2-7 conference champion. How about that?
That's right. That's right, baby. And because they got the waiver from the NCAA that they can still be an FBS conference as long as they got something together. But if the championships happen today, here's a quick look. In the American, Navy, Memphis. In the ACC, Virginia, Georgia Tech. In the Big 12, they're playing each other now. But if it were to continue and Cincinnati faltered, because if Texas Tech loses to BYU and Cincinnati wins, then Cincinnati will move up and it'll be BYU Cincinnati, and Texas Tech could fall out of this entire thing. But as of right now, if it happened today, it would be BYU Texas Tech. But much to the thankfulness of the scheduling ahead of time, Week 11 will let us know who the true number 1 team is in the Big 12 when BYU faces Texas Tech. In the Big 10, if it happened today, Indiana, Ohio State. Michigan is right behind them, but Michigan has there's nothing. There's a lot of teams that would have to lose for me to consider Michigan this year. Conference USA, Kennesaw State versus Jacksonville State. And then in the Mid-American, in the MAC, it would be Miami versus Buffalo. They did away with their divisions, so we would have Miami and Buffalo. Shout out to both of them within conferences where they got the majority of their wins. Miami of Ohio is 4-0. Buffalo's 4-1. In the Mountain West, it would be San Diego State versus Boise State, no surprise. And in the SEC, it would be Texas A&M versus Alabama, the 2 undefeateds of the SEC currently, which means Georgia, Ole Miss, Texas, Oklahoma, Vanderbilt, Tennessee, and Missouri would be watching the championship. And in the Sun Belt, which still has divisions, it would be James Madison and Southern Miss, as I mentioned before. So a lot of things are going to get shaken out this week, but as I said, my number 10 team, Texas, my number 1 team, Indiana. So Hoosier fans that ripped all your hair out, if you had waited just a few days, you would have been able to comb your hair. If you just waited. If you just waited. So, Murph, let's go through the rest of the top 25 here before we jump into sports cards really quick. As we look at the rankings for what's left, the AP and the coaches poll differed outside of the top 10. The AP goes Oklahoma from 11 on. It goes Oklahoma, Virginia, Texas, Louisville, Vanderbilt, Georgia Tech, Utah, Miami, Missouri, USC, Michigan, Memphis, Tennessee, Washington, Cincinnati. Getting votes, Iowa, James Madison, Pittsburgh, San Diego State, North Texas, South Florida, all got 23 or more votes. In the in the coaches poll, Virginia at 11, Oklahoma, Texas. Still don't understand why Oklahoma's above Texas in both polls.
How does that make any sense?
It doesn't make any sense. This is why, folks, we do these things and we have these discussions when y'all freak out, because some things factually don't make sense. I know facts are an allergy in America right now, but I hope that you all take your medicine so that we can breathe through this together. Georgia Tech is 14 in the coaches poll, then Louisville, then Vanderbilt, then Missouri, Miami, Utah, Michigan, USC, Tennessee, Memphis, Iowa is ranked in the coaches poll, at 24, and
Thank
Cincinnati. Then Washington, North Texas, both getting 60 or more votes. James Madison, San Diego State, Pittsburgh, South Florida. So, Murph, your thoughts? I mean, they have pretty much the same teams. One has Iowa, one
Fairly
has
similar,
Washington, and they're only like one off of each other. It's literally just like one or two spaces. So, what are your thoughts on 11 to 25?
I don't like that Iowa's still not ranked.
Amen.
I don't know how they're not ranked at this point.
100%.
How is Tennessee still ranked over them?
True.
There's a lot of teams I would take over Tennessee right now that are currently ranked. Now, granted, Tennessee's 3 losses are Georgia, Alabama, and Oklahoma.
Right, but then we're playing the quality loss game. What wins do they have?
Correct.
They have Syracuse,
Correct.
doesn't matter. East Tennessee State doesn't matter. UAB doesn't matter. Mississippi State doesn't matter.
Nope.
Arkansas fired their coach.
They don't have a ranked win.
And then they have Kentucky. They don't have one ranked win. They're the only team in the top 25 with 3 losses.
Yeah. I don't know how are they still in the top 25. I would take Memphis over them. I'd take Iowa over them. I'd take Cincinnati over them. I'd take Washington over them. I'd take James Madison over them. Like, all these teams, like, how are you putting a 3-loss team in the that hasn't beaten a top 25 team in the top 25 right now?
Yeah.
SEC or no SEC?
I agree.
How? I don't get it. But yeah, I mean, that's my biggest thing is I definitely think Iowa should be ranked.
Yeah. Agreed.
You know, Pitt has been pretty good this year.
Pitt should be ranked.
You know, I thought SMU deserved a little bit more love after beating Miami. But they still got votes.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, I'd take SMU over Tennessee right now.
I don't understand how SMU is not ranked for beating
a top 10 win.
I don't understand how SMU beats a team that people had in the college football playoff and they don't get 25.
I mean, I don't necessarily think they should be ranked. Like, I would have probably put them at like 27, 28.
But you look at who you look at their loss
they
to
should
Baylor.
Be higher than they are.
Baylor was a 3-point loss and like questionable toward the end of the game. And then, I mean, you look at their losses. Their losses were TCU and Baylor when you look at out of conference play. And Baylor, that was a big time game for them, playing those games within the state of Texas. And then SMU's only other loss they're 4-1 in the ACC. The only loss that they had in the ACC was to the team that played spoiler. That was at Wake Forest, and Georgia Tech almost lost at Wake Forest as well. So it's like SMU should be. I think
the 3 losses does hurt them.
It does, but
the 3 losses hurts them. That's why I would keep them out of the top 25.
But look at Tennessee.
I think they should be higher than where they have them.
3-loss
Tennessee shouldn't be in there.
Right, like 3-loss Tennessee, no top 25 wins. 3-loss SMU beat Miami, who was in the college football playoff conversation. So absolutely, SMU has a better 3-loss record than Tennessee does.
Correct.
100%.
You're 100%. You're 100% right. So for me, Tennessee shouldn't even sniff the top 30. I'd put SMU ahead of them.
What did I tell you? I said
maybe only by one spot.
Right. But I said to you,
SMU ahead of them.
I said Oklahoma, Tennessee, whoever loses this game is completely out of it. And somehow Tennessee lost the game and is still
they're
in the
definitely
top
out of the playoff.
Yeah, they're out of the playoff.
I don't know how they're still in the top 25.
But they should have been out of the top 25.
Agreed. Totally agree. But yeah, like the Oklahoma over Texas thing makes 0 sense. If Oklahoma still had 1 loss, I get it.
Right. But they lost head-to-head.
They have the same record.
They
have the same record.
Right, and they lost.
They have the same record, and they lost head-to-head.
Right. It makes no
sense. If they were still 8-1, okay, I'll give it to them. But now that they have 2 losses, are the same as Texas, there's no way. I think Miami's too high. I agree with you that I think Missouri's probably too high.
Yep. Missouri hasn't done anything this year.
Washington, to me, hasn't done anything to make me think they're a top 25 team. I don't understand why they're in the top 25, to be honest.
Because they've been talking about it for
especially
3
over
weeks.
Iowa.
They've been talking about it for 3 weeks.
Especially over Iowa.
And I don't get it. Like, they're in the same conference as Iowa. And, like, the Iowa-Oregon matchup is, like, that should be one of the games of the week. If not the game of the week to some people. Like, this is a massive... These are the 2 prime victories
Huge
for
game.
Indiana playing each other. Like... This is Big Noon. Like the whole Big Noon thing, the game's going to be at 3:30. They're going to be promoting it, talking about it on Fox. Like, this Oregon-Iowa game is a massive, 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 massive implication game because Iowa is there's still a path for Iowa. There's still a path for Oregon, but if Ohio State and Indiana keep winning, then there's not. But there's still life for both of these teams because they only have one loss.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a massive game. Miami, I agree with you. Miami, Missouri, USC, Michigan, Tennessee, Washington, all of those teams to me are I'm confused as to why they are where they are. I think Louisville should be higher. I think Texas should be higher. I think I'm okay with Virginia being where they are right now. Oklahoma has to be behind Texas because they lost head-to-head and they have the same record. I agree with you completely. And Iowa needs to be ranked. And I would argue that Pittsburgh or North Texas is 8-1. Like, I mean, I feel like they should be, and they just beat an undefeated team, one of the only undefeated teams left. So, like, I feel that maybe North Texas.
I mean, they have a ranked win now.
Right. I think that they.
Wait, was Navy still ranked, or did they just drop them out at 26?
Navy was ranked in the coaches poll.
I thought they were ranked last week.
They were ranked in the coaches poll.
Oh, okay. They weren't ranked in the AP poll.
So, but I think, like, honestly,
okay. That's basically a top 25 win.
I think North Texas and SMU should be in the top 25. I think Tennessee should be out. I think Washington should be out. So, and the USC, the USC flavor in Michigan, the people that are like, there's a 14% chance that Michigan will make the college football play. Stop. Okay, just stop.
Michigan ain't making the playoff.
Stop. Ohio State, Oregon,
I would
Indiana.
take Iowa over them.
Yes.
I would take. I'm trying to think of who else. So let me look at the Big Ten. There's a decent amount of teams I would take. So obviously you have the top teams I'd take over them. I take Iowa, I take Ohio State, I take Oregon.
Right.
Indiana. I would take Iowa over them. I would take USC over them. I would probably take Washington over them. Hell, I might even take Northwestern over them. I mean, to me,
what have they done?
Yeah.
What have they done? You want to know Michigan's? Here we go.
Maybe not Washington because they beat Washington head-to-head.
Okay.
So I guess if you're going off of that, they do have a quote-unquote top 25 win.
Right. So
Washington's ranked in the top 25 at the moment.
They beat unranked New Mexico. They lost by 11 by multiple scores to ranked Oklahoma on the road. They beat unranked Central Michigan. They beat unranked Nebraska on the road. They beat
that's an okay. That's
an okay. Nebraska's kind of faltered.
That's a decent win.
That's okay. It's like
Wisconsin.
It's a mid-level win. Wisconsin, that win is not.
Mm-hmm.
They lost to USC when USC wasn't ranked, and they got blown out by USC. So I don't know what the conversation is about Michigan over USC. They beat Washington, who I don't consider a good team. They beat Michigan, who's unranked. They beat Michigan State, who's unranked, and everyone has beaten Purdue, and Purdue's unranked. Michigan is a non-factor this year. They are a non. Stop talking about Michigan again. They're only talking about
chance
Michigan
they have is if they
Michigan.
beat Ohio State and blow them out.
Right, but
that's the only chance they have.
And still, it's like, okay, so if they
wouldn't be a Big Ten champion. You need to get them an at-large bid, and I don't even know if that's enough.
So if they beat,
if they win out and then they blow Ohio State out, because do they host that game or are they playing? They play that game in the Big House,
right? So
if they blow out Ohio State, that's a different story.
Well,
but they're not going to do that.
If they beat Ohio State at the end of the season,
they have to blow them out.
But if they beat them, but you got to think about the road here. If Indiana wins out and Ohio State loses to Michigan and Michigan wins every game besides that, Michigan will play Indiana in the Big Ten Championship. That's their only path. And I'm telling you this right now.
I mean, I will say this. If they do that and beat Ohio State and then go to the Big Ten Championship in Indianapolis and beat Indiana,
well, I mean, if
then they deserve to get in.
But Here's the thing, though. If they beat Ohio State, I'm telling you this right now. This is not me. I'm telling you the committee. This is my belief on the committee. Based on what I've seen over the years, this is, again, studying the college football playoff. If Michigan wins out, beats Ohio State, goes and plays Indiana in the championship, loses to Indiana in the championship, because remember, Indiana got blown out by Ohio State, and it didn't matter. So whatever the score is, if Indiana beats Michigan, but Michigan wins out, beats Ohio State, plays in the Big Ten championship, I'm telling you this right now, the college football playoff will put in Oregon, Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio State. I'm telling you that right now. They will.
You can't.
They will,
That's
Murph.
the difference is Indiana had 1 loss, Michigan would have 3.
But I'm telling
you can't justify a 3-loss team there.
They'll justify it because of their ballooned belief in Ohio State.
Literally can't.
They will. I'm telling you this right now. They will. If Michigan beats Ohio State and plays in the Big Ten championship and loses to Indiana, they will argue that at worst Michigan is like 11. I'm telling you this right now. I'm not saying it's not my belief. I'm telling you, look at the facts, look at the history. The committee values Ohio State tremendously. So if Michigan beats Ohio State and plays in the Big Ten championship and loses to Indiana, Michigan will be on a hairpin trigger of either going in or being the first team out. I'm telling you right now.
The issue, if they would lose the Indiana game and have 2 losses, then sure. I don't think there's a way for them to justify a 3-loss team who was a non-conference champion.
Well, they're trying to justify a 2-loss Notre Dame team that's not even going to play for a championship because they can't. So, I mean, look at Notre Dame.
Well, they wouldn't.
They're going to argue.
If Notre Dame loses a game, they're done. If Notre Dame loses a 3rd game, they are absolutely done.
The fact that they
There's
are a top,
no path to the playoff for them.
The fact that Notre Dame is a top 10 team right now should tell everyone on this planet that the bias I've been talking about for years is real. Like, I've talked to Notre Dame people that, like, I looked a guy straight in the face and said, y'all know that you get an unfair advantage in the polls. And he laughed and he looked at the ground and he nodded and he goes, you're not wrong. They know. They know what's up. They know what time it is. I'm telling you this right now. If Michigan beats Ohio State and they play in the Big Ten championship, they're going to blow this thing up because the SEC should have 5 or 6 teams in this year. I think they should
have 6.
I think the ACC
I think you can make a case for them to have 7.
And I'm telling you this right now. I think the ACC should have 2. I think they should have 2. I don't know how between Louisville, Virginia, Georgia Tech, of those 3 that are fighting right now, and I would love it. Like it would be great if SMU had only 2 losses. But when you look at if that was the case, then I think there's definitely going to be 2. But Louisville, Virginia, and Georgia Tech, like you can't. Georgia Tech lost a game. Okay, they lost to NC State, but it's like Notre Dame
made a bad loss.
It is, but Notre Dame made it in the college football playoff when they lost to Northern Illinois. So that's a worse loss than losing to NC State. So
that's true.
When you look at Virginia and you look at Georgia Tech and you look at Louisville's the hottest team. But if Georgia Tech goes through this thing, plays Louisville in the ACC championship and beats them, but Louisville wins out from here, like, I don't think that this is a fair college football playoff if you take one ACC team this year, because the ACC has shown you that they've gotten better. And no, it's not your typical players, but Pittsburgh right now, Louisville, Georgia Tech, and Virginia, as well as SMU and Duke, are all still in the running. Like, we are a few games out of this thing being over. Okay, we're 9 games into the season for most teams, and you have 6 teams right now in the ACC that are live for the playoff. Like, live to play in the ACC championship game. How many conferences can say that they have 6 viable candidates that could take the 2 spots in their championship game? Not every conference is built where they have that. So, to me, right now, like, the way I look at it, Pittsburgh's got 2 losses. Georgia Tech has 1 loss. So if Georgia Tech goes and they make it to the championship and they lose it and it's a close game, then Georgia Tech's they're 10-2. They got 2 losses, so they'll be what? They'll be 11-2. They'll be 11-2 and they got a case. Virginia, they would be 11-2 and they got a case. You know, if Pittsburgh were to win it, then, you're looking at a Pittsburgh team that at best right now they would be 10 and so they would be 11-2 and they would have a case. Louisville would have a case. SMU, the 3 losses hurts them, but I think Louisville, Pitt, Georgia Tech, Virginia, there's a world where somebody wins and somebody loses and that losing team is 11-2. Like, if Georgia Tech or Louisville's 11-2, or Virginia's 11-2, I'm going to be arguing for one of those for them to have 2 teams in.
I feel like the one team that would probably get that would have a better chance of that scenario working out is Louisville. With the win over Miami.
You know why? Because they're in Kentucky. And there's that SEC air. There's the essence of it. It's Kentucky. It's the South. So
see that win, I think, even though I don't think Miami's all that good this year, I think that win is going to hold a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And if Louisville does go into the ACC championship and lose, I think there's a decent chance they still make the playoff. Georgia Tech, on the other hand, I wouldn't be so sure, just because, and if I look at Louisville's loss, who is their loss? Is Virginia.
Yeah.
That is not a bad loss by any means.
No. And so
Georgia Tech's loss.
But think about this.
Is NC State.
Right. But
that's a bad loss.
It is, but think about this. If Louisville plays Virginia, if Louisville wins out and they go 10-2, and Virginia wins out and they go 11-1, you got 11-1 versus. Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah. So no, if Louisville wins out,
you have 11-1 versus
11-1 versus 11-1. If Louisville loses to Virginia in the ACC championship, they'll be 11-2, but they'll only have lost to one team who's your ACC champion. So in that world, I think Virginia and Louisville both have a case.
I agree. Yeah, and at that point, I would leave Georgia Tech out. In that scenario,
you'd have to.
You have to, and you'd have to, and it would suck for Georgia Tech with only the one loss.
It does,
but that's a bad one loss.
But
that's a very bad one loss.
Keep in mind,
that's a Notre Dame losing to Northern Illinois type of loss. Maybe not that drastic.
Keep in mind with this though, Georgia Tech last year 8 overtimes versus Georgia. If they beat Georgia in the last game of the season and they go to the ACC championship,
that's a different story.
We're talking about
a different story.
So if Georgia Tech goes 11-1, which includes a win over Georgia, and then they lose in the ACC championship and they're 11-2, I'm still putting them in.
Yes, I totally agree, because they would have a huge win over a top 5 team.
Yeah,
that would be absolutely massive, and I'm totally with you on that. I'm excited for the playoff rankings to come out on Tuesday. I will be in the car driving to North Carolina when they come out. So, we'll see what happens. I don't know if I'll be the one driving at the time, but whatever.
Yeah.
I still think Vanderbilt should be ranked a little bit higher. I know they have the loss to, the 2 losses to Alabama and Texas. Alabama beat them handily, but I think we still think Alabama's the best team in the country. And they lost to Georgia by 3, or to Texas by 3.
Yeah.
So, I like them being a little bit higher. I would put them ahead of Oklahoma. I would be okay sandwiching them between Texas and Oklahoma, personally.
Yeah. I can understand that.
Virginia understandably is ahead of Louisville because they beat Louisville head to head.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. Other than that, it's not that atypical. I think we almost have to wait and see what happens on Tuesday, and then we'll see how next week shapes up, and we'll have a pretty good idea for how the committee is gonna think.
Yeah, and Oklahoma's key wins are, against ranked teams Michigan's still ranked, which I don't necessarily think they're great, but Auburn is no longer ranked. Ole Miss they lost to, and Tennessee, in my opinion, shouldn't be ranked anymore. So I would agree with you, because Vanderbilt's, if you look at Oklahoma's wins versus Vanderbilt's wins, Vanderbilt's key wins, they beat South Carolina, who's no longer ranked. And like we talked about, when we talk about college football like college basketball and you start quadding these things, you might beat a quad 1 team week 1, but now they're a quad 3. Like that win over Florida State doesn't hold the same weight, which is what I keep telling Indiana fans. Stop writing to me about Illinois. And because it's not a quality win and it's not a top 9 team. It was written as a top 9 team, but it was smoke and mirrors. And that's the same thing with South Carolina. South Carolina was smoke and mirrors this year, unfortunately. So they lost to Alabama, speaking of Vanderbilt, but they beat LSU and they beat Missouri. And those two teams are still ranked. And so I would say that I like Vanderbilt's wins more than I like Oklahoma's wins. Which is why
I'm with you on that.
So it would be
That's
like
why I would
10
say
Texas, 11.
Because they lost to Texas head-to-head.
Yeah.
Then Vanderbilt, and then Oklahoma.
So I would say Texas, Vanderbilt, Oklahoma, 10, 11, 12.
Yeah. I like that. I do.
Let's do cards really quick because I know that you got to go and I got to get
I gotta grab mine. Guys, I got such a busy day today, but I'm looking forward to it because, this time tomorrow, I'm in the car heading to Allentown to pick the guys up, and then we are on the road to North Carolina. So hang on, let me go grab the cards real quick.
Yeah, so you are here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here, hanging out with us up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. And this has been your college football coverage heading into Week 11. Make sure you stay with us and download all of our shows, 1,900 plus, on Podbean, as well as going to Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podvine, Podchaser.com, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. Search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. With that being said, Murph and I are going to show our cards off quickly here in Sports Card Show and Tell, proudly presented by our place of choice in Central and Upstate New York. That is GG Cards and Breaks for hockey, soccer, basketball, baseball, football, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Disney Lorcana, One Piece, and more. Head to GG Cards and Breaks Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6, and on Sundays from 10 to 5. We look forward to seeing you out there. Murph, I'm going to let you go first as always, and then I will follow.
So I got some fun ones, and then I have a card that is not currently in my possession yet, but it is on its way back from Beckett.
Okay.
And that I will show at the end. I don't have a picture of the exact card, but I have a picture of the card in the same grade that I'll show you.
Okay.
So I'll start out here. I got some couple of basketball autos. This is from 2019 Crown Royal. It's our boy Chuck, Charles Barkley.
Nice.
Got an auto on that. We got a Spectra Illustrious Legends auto, number to 15 of Dwayne Wade.
Hold on, I'm gonna lighten you here so we can see it a little bit better. So show that again.
I hate when that, and I even try to pull the camera in a little bit better.
There we go. We can see that a little bit better now. We can contrast that.
There we go. We got an auto of who I hope is a future Met, but he was probably going to be becoming a back-to-back Cy Young Award winner for the Detroit Tigers. Non-licensed auto, but that's okay, of Tarek Skubal.
Nice. I like it.
Don't remember if I showed this one yet, but this is from Panini 3 and 2 from this year. It's a new release. So it's non-licensed, obviously, but it's Chase Burns of the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah,
formerly, I believe, of the Tennessee Volunteers. I could be wrong on that. I believe he was at Tennessee. Trevor, if you're listening, correct me if I'm wrong. We got a Topps Finest Gold auto number to 25 from this year of Andre Dawson of the Chicago Cubs.
Nice. The Cubbies.
You'll like this one. This is a small one, but we got the Mojo Choice Red Michael Penix.
Okay, I like it.
Also, by the way, folks, I am so sorry if you have any serious money invested in Jaden Daniels. You're probably going to lose some money now. After that injury last night. That was not pretty. Yeah. Nor do I know why he was even still in the game.
Yeah.
At that point.
I sold all of my big Jaden Daniels stuff at the beginning of the season. Good. And I'm very sad.
See, you did what I told you to.
I'm very sad to see it. What happened to him?
But give it a few weeks, maybe even end of the season, you'll be able to buy it back for a third of what you sold it
Well,
for.
and what I like is I want a Jaden Auto, and now, I can look to get that.
You can get one
which
cheaper.
is good.
Way cheaper.
But more than anything else, in the importance of life and everything is, cards go up and down, and you try and get things when they're cheaper and all that good stuff. But ultimately, Jaden Daniels is not the stock market, and he shouldn't be treated that way. I pray for him. I hope for him. If you wondered if people still care about each other in a world that feels like it's me-centric at times, look at the teammates and coaches' response to Jaden Daniels going down. He wanted nothing, and for him, he wanted nothing to do with that cart. He walked off the field. God bless to him. He is a leader. He believes in God. He leads with his faith. He works hard. And, for watching teams this year that don't have leadership versus Washington, which clearly does, the one thing that I can say without doubt is that he means something to them. And watching that live last night, if that didn't bring you to a tear or make you just really stop and think and want to call a family member or a friend, then you need to consult your heart, because Jaden Daniels definitely has a lot of weight and a lot of value, and it was a very emotional moment. I feel terrible for him. God bless to him. I hope the best for Marcus Mariota, who's done some good things. But Jaden, the Lord is with you, and he is with all of us, and may you heal completely and for good, no matter what, through God, and may you handle well whatever comes your way in and out of your control. May you come back better than you went out, and just know that the good Lord has you in the comfort of his hands. So God bless to you in Jesus' most precious name, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. To anyone going through anything, including Jaden, God has you, and we're praying for you. So God bless to you on that.
Yeah, it was tough to see, and I didn't watch it live, but I saw the notification come across my phone, and it was definitely a tough scene.
I was up editing.
Next
and
one I have
unfortunately
here.
I saw it.
Yeah. Next one I have here is out of Impeccable. This is not an RPA, but it is a really good looking patch auto of Kyler Murray.
Nice.
Hopefully on his way back from injury.
Yeah.
I have two similar cards here, both numbered to 25, both of the same player, both from 2025 or 2024 Panini one of Lad McConkey.
Okay.
Those are pretty sweet. The patches, I love the patches.
Those are really, I love Lad McConkey. How is he doing on price?
He had a little bit of a spell where he was going down early in the year because he wasn't playing well, but now he's basically proven to be their number one receiver, and his market's back up, so that's pretty good. Another guy whose market's really cheap right now, which is surprising, but he's not playing all that well, so I guess I understand, is Nico Collins. That's on the Mosaic rookie auto. We have an RPA out of Origins, really nice 3-color patch from the Los Angeles Rams, Cooper Kupp.
Nice. By the way, Seattle's offense looks.
I'll pull up the other card.
Yeah, Seattle's offense looks awesome. They were throwing the ball to all names that you may not know, but holy goodness, is Sam Darnold and that team rocking and rolling. Kenneth Walker III looked good. Their tight ends looked good. Jackson Smith and Jigba had another 100-yard game. I mean, Seattle, you really. I'm gonna echo what the commentator said yesterday. You're gonna have to pay attention to Seattle as a dangerous playoff team for those that don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, you're 100% right. This next one is not a baseball, football, or basketball card, not even a hockey card.
Wow.
It is a winter sport, though.
Space Jam?
I stumbled across this at the Palmer Mall show last weekend.
Is it a Cool Runnings Jamaican bobsled card?
No.
Why
not?
No,
it is not.
That would be beautiful.
Yeah. So I've been looking for an auto of this particular person for a while.
Okay.
And kind of stopped looking and then stumbled across it and was like, you know what? I'm going to pick this thing up because not many people would know who this person is. And for me, it's going to sit on my desk because this person is very influential in their sport. And hopefully come the Winter Olympics in 2026, they can perform a little bit better. This is multiple-time gold medal winner, the greatest female alpine skier of all time, Michaela Schifrin.
And what
that is from Upper Deck, Gaudy, and it is a PSA 10.
What made you want to get this?
So Michaela Schifrin, to me, is the greatest skier ever, male or female, personally. So I watch her all the time in her World Cup events. She's got over 100 World Cup wins, more than anybody all time, and she is just unreal. So technically sound, and she even does well in the speed events, in the downhill, and the Super G. But she's a slalom specialist, and she's unbelievable. So much fun to watch, and it's one of those things where I would always wanted to have an auto of her, and now I do. So I'm happy about that one. This one's not getting sold anytime soon. And then the last one, like I said, is I do not have it in my possession yet. I will have it later tonight.
Yeah.
It is on its way back from Beckett. If you remember, a few weeks ago at the Fishtown Card Show, I picked up a rookie autograph of Alexander Ovechkin, numbered to 250. So I gave it to a friend of mine to take to Chantilly Card Show to do a Beckett raw card review, and then if it got a good grade, I would send it in and get it slabbed. Raw card review. They were not doing raw card reviews there, Beckett.
Okay.
So it was like, well, we basically, if I want to grade it, I just got to kind of shoot my shot and give it a chance. And we sent it off. We did express, so it cost me more money, but I didn't really care because I wanted it back quicker, and I felt really confident that it was going to get a pretty good grade. Needless to say, I was thrilled with the grade. I don't know why it's not showing up on there.
Yeah.
My friends,
what's the grade?
is a BGS 9510.
That's awesome. Good for you.
That card went from about a $1,200 card to about a $2,000 card.
Nice.
And I'm into it for just over $1,000.
So you can make double.
I don't know that I'm going to sell it anytime soon.
Yeah.
I will sell it if I get the right price. But the problem is there's a BGS 95 that sold on October 2nd for $1,500, which makes no sense. So I am going to put probably a $2,500 sticker on it or a $3,000 sticker on it.
Yeah.
And just basically tell people, look, I know my price is high.
Right.
I'm open to an offer. Be more than willing to listen. So to me, I wouldn't sell it for less than $2,000. Personally.
Yeah.
It means too much right now, and I have no plans on parting with it anytime soon. Yes, I know that's a lot of money tied up in one card at the moment, but I also have a lot of money tied up in PSA at the moment with that Aaron Judge auto that I had, and that is a long story of what's going on with that, and to the point where I am not happy with PSA, and I am trying to voice my frustrations to them, and I can't get in touch with the people from the PSA vault, and it's pissing me off. So we'll see. But that's what I got for today.
So that coming from Murph, congratulations on your card and getting an almost perfect score on a beautiful card. So this came from my box break, and so happy to share these with you. We have first my Brian Thomas Jr. It's his second year, but it's the Elite Series electrified looking refractor here. This came from my birthday box break for my 40th birthday. Of the 3 boxes we open at GG Cards and Breaks, this is a Bomb Squad Nico Collins. And then we have a throwback here of the Legend Series, Rocket Ishmael, his brother, the Missile, Kadri Ismail, played for Syracuse. So shout out to Rocket. I thought that was cool that I got that. I got a big head of Justin Jefferson. And then here come the rookies. And so I did these in order. of the best cards being last. So we have the rated rookie of Tez Johnson with the Bucks, and obviously with new product and stuff coming out, this is stuff I want to move quickly. Thankfully, we're going to have a trade night next week. So I'm excited to get these all out there for it because maybe some people haven't opened this product. Amari and Hampton, rated rookie. We have an Ollie Gordon Jr. or Ollie Gordon II, rated rookie. Your boy Mason Taylor, rated rookie.
Yep.
A guy that I told you all about going into the season that I drafted, Tyler Warren, rated rookie. We have a rookie of an awesome tight end here that's come up here, Harold Fannin Jr. of the Browns. Then we have the green refractor of Woody Marks. I think some Giants fans will still want this. Unfortunately, there's been an injury, but I still think there'll be some value in people looking at this. This is a picture parallel, so it's the different version of the card. So it's a green refractor, and it's the alternate picture of Cam Scatterbo. And then
that's a good card.
It's a cool card. And then I have a Jaden Blue, and this is one of the rare insert ones of the rated rookie refractor of Jaden Blue.
Optic preview, yeah.
The optic preview, and this is the optic preview that I think this one's going to probably leave me quickly of Dylan Gabriel. So this was open from our last box. So Dylan Gabriel should.
I would sell that quick.
Yeah.
I don't know how much longer he's going to be starting for them.
So yeah, these are all.
Who knows, guys? Maybe we see Shedeur, and then we all know that he sucks.
Yeah. So I mean, hey, Dylan Gabriel hasn't been doing that terrible, so give him some love, give him some credit, and so hopefully things continue to rock in a good direction for these teams. But those are the ones that I got in the box break of the notable ones that have been sleeved and put in the top loaders. I forgot to show these two. I got two rookie sweater cards. I got the rookie sweater of Kyle Williams of the Patriots, and we didn't even know that these existed. Josh and I did not know that these existed until I got one. We got a dual patch rookie sweater of two Green Bay Packers and Matthew Golden and Savion Williams of their sweater, the dual patch rookie sweater, which is pretty cool for the Packers. And so I do have some two sweater cards that I was able to pull from this. So with that being said, that is our sports card show and tell from GG Cards and Breaks. For Murph, we thank you for watching DT and Murphy, and I'll look forward to talking with you soon, Murph.
Yes, sir, my friend. Not next week, unfortunately, because I'll still be on vacation, but in 2 weeks, looking forward to it for sure.
Yeah, looking forward to having you here. So be safe, stay well, enjoy North Carolina, and we'll talk soon.
Will do, my friend. Appreciate that.
Of course. So that coming from Murph here on the broadcast, getting ready for North Kakalaki, and we're going to take a step aside here where sports meets that thing called life. We'll be back right after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora to wrap up today's show, as we gave you plenty to start off your week with. And this first week of November, first full week of November, happy to be here with you inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. And we'll wrap it up right after this. And now a message from Myers Creek Brewing Company, with locations at their Cazenovia Farm Brewery, Syracuse Inner Harbor Tap Room, and soon to be Lake Placid Tap Room.
Well, I think first and foremost, the Feldmeyer family and our team are extremely passionate about what we do. We care very much about what we do. The Feldmeyer family is always investing. Our taproom management team, our brew management team, our marketing management team, and all of the team members that get after it every day, they leave it on the field. They put their heart and soul into it. I know for a fact that everyone that works at Myers Creek wants to be there, and we want them to be there. You know, we want them to feel good about their job. And again, if you've never been to Myers Creek, especially to the brewery, I mean, I want your eyes to open really big. I want you to see how big of a brand this is. I want you to see where we're going. The sky is the limit, and I feel very proud of that, and I'm very excited about that. When you think of designing a menu for a brewery, it's kind of open to a lot of different interpretations. I mean, you can do American, you can do Asian, you can do Italian, and you just have to find, how that meets that pub style dining experience, that gastropub vibe. And I think it's super fun for us because obviously we know that, everyone in the world's going to sell a pizza or a burger or a french fry, but what can we do to be different? And what can we do to be true to who we are? We are a brewery, a brew pub. So the flavor profiles are kind of all over the place. And I think it's super cool that we have a massive smoker at the brewery in Cazenovia, and we smoke a lot of our products. They're delicious smoked turkey. We have barbecue ribs on Sundays. From a pulled pork sandwich to a chicken wing, you go to the Inner Harbor and you go to the Kaz location and you'll find similarities in the menu, but also things that are a little different and also kind of fit those different demographics or different communities, and also hopefully just drive you to try every tap room that we have open at some point because you get a little something different at each one. We understand how hard it is to, work every day and get after it every day, and when you're done at the end of your day, you want to go out and put your feet up in a good ambiance and good environment. So we take pride in that. We make sure that everyone knows that they're very much valued to us.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York is your one-stop trading card and sports card shop. Head over to GG Cards and Breaks Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6 and on Sundays from 10 to 5 to find all different sports cards plus Disney Lorcana, Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, and more, including One Piece. Do not miss your opportunity to get closer to the teams you love, the players you love, and to play the games that you love at GG Cards and Breaks. They have singles, packs, boxes, graded cards, potential one-of-ones, rookie patch autos, and so much more. They have autographs from entertainers. You never know what you're going to find at GG Cards and Breaks, and it may be gone by the time you get there, so get there early and be sure that you are waiting outside when they're opening that door. They just got a bunch of NFL and NBA product in. You don't want to miss the opportunity. We've already had some great box opening special cards that have been sent in to GG Cards and Breaks that they've shared. So go out there and make sure that you are buying up what GG Cards and Breaks has just put in. A great new inventory came in last week. You don't want to miss everything that is still on the shelf and in their display cases. Head to 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. And, of course, Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6, Sundays from 10 to 5. Chick-fil-A in DeWitt, Bridge Street, and Erie Boulevard. You can't miss that giant brick building with the double drive-through. Find your way over to Chick-fil-A in DeWitt to see Megan Sorber and her team Cannot say enough about what Chick-fil-A has to offer you. You know all of their awesome favorites that they have, the things that you love to try at Chick-fil-A. Some of you are fans of the original sandwich. Some people like it grilled. Some people like it spicy. Well, I'm going to tell you to get the Pretzel Cheddar Club and take what you love and put a pretzel bun on it and add some bacon to it and that awesome new flavor that they have for a limited time. If you are a original, spicy, or grilled fan, do it with the Pretzel Cheddar Club today on the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard. The Pretzel Cheddar Club is available to you at Chick-fil-A in DeWitt for a limited time only, so get there today and jump in that drive-thru before everybody else gets there. It's 11:30. Do it before the rush comes at Chick-fil-A in DeWitt. With that being said, I want to thank you for being a part of today's show. So happy that Brendan Murphy joins me on Mondays and that we got to talk about the World Series as well as college football and do our sports card show and tell from GG Cards and Breaks, our sports card and trading card shop of choice here in Central and Upstate New York. And many thanks to the head coach of the Syracuse Orange and longtime friend Adrian Autry for joining the broadcast to usher in the 2025-26 season on the first game day of the year, facing off against the Binghamton Bearcats. So thank you to Adrian for spending some time on game day right here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and of course on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. So we thank you for being with us. And of course, coming up at noon Eastern time on YouTube and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, we will have a game day special ushering in the Binghamton Bearcats season, as they will face off against the Orange today in the Dome, an hour north of Binghamton University, right up at 81. And of course, that special is airing at noon Eastern time, so don't miss it, because Wake Up Call isn't done with you as we extend out beyond 11 a.m. And of course, speaking of extending out, you can find our archive on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube by searching Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Many thanks to our partners in Central and Upstate New York, Great Lakes, Honda City, Carvel, DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Breaks, Myers Creek, both locations, and we were at both, did a live back-to-back last week with Brittany Brigandy celebrating her 4th Hall of Fame before the age of 35, and we were at Myers Creek in Cazenovia on 33 Rippleton Road. Then we had Wake Up Call Game Day Live, having fun with the Syracuse fans who are in positive spirits, pre-gaming before Syracuse and North Carolina at 720 Van Rensselaer Street in the Syracuse Inner Harbor. Many thanks to Chick-fil-A Cicero. Ma and Pa's, the snack capital of the world. Hopefully you spent your Halloween there, because if you did, you did it right. Mother's Cupboard, where I have my sandwich 7 days a week. The Cuse Mac Mother. Game Point Sports Complex, right by Mother's Cupboard. Don't want to miss a moment of the best indoor facility that we have for basketball, volleyball, pickleball, and more on 211 South Center Street in East Syracuse. And our newest episode of Who's Got Next, airing with Lazara Sims of Henniger, Syracuse pro basketball and Harlem Globetrotter history, as well as a former collegiate coach. You can find out what Lazarus is up to with Z360, his AAU team, and more by watching our newest episode on our channels. And Game Point Sports Complex, make sure you go to gamepointsports-syr.com and reserve time for yourself and your loved ones today. Canine Camp Dog Daycare, which is right by Game Point Sports Complex. Pizza Man, Chick-fil-A DeWitt, as well as Brian's Landing, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Avicoli's, and we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse. The Bobcat Buzz comes to you every single month. We're going to have a double dose of the Bobcat Buzz as both the women's and men's basketball teams tipped off their season over the weekend and started each of their seasons with a win in Game 1. We'll be talking with Amani Free at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, the women's basketball head coach, and at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time this Tuesday, November 4th, we'll be talking with Clay Gagan Sherman, the men's basketball head coach. You can find it all by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt for the Bobcat Buzz. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, find the BSC Syracuse playlist. The Bobcats are also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com and go Bobcats. Binghamton University Bearcats are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. The Bearcats come to you every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and under promise, over deliver. Over 100 videos already in our time with Binghamton University, including the video that will air at noon with Lavelle Sanders in a bonus Bearcat break room, getting you ready, ushering in the 2025-26 season on game day with the Bearcats facing off against the Syracuse Orange in the Dome in just a few hours. Lavelle Sanders joins me for a special that you don't want to miss, that you won't find like this anywhere else. Many thanks to all of the Bearcats student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni that have joined the show and that will. We'll be featuring all of that 24/7 by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, find the Binghamton playlist. The Bearcats are also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab for more information. Go to binghamtonbearcats.com and go Bearcats. The Onondaga Community College Lasers are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We added to our social media the schedules for the men's and women's basketball teams. Make sure you go out and support your Lasers and all their programs. Soccer's been kicking it, literally and figuratively, with the men's and women's teams doing good things this year. Volleyball's been awesome. Cross country's been out there going after it. And of course, Region 3 champions back-to-back. Region 3 Coach of the Year for Greg Keeler, so shout out to him as well. Don't miss your Laser Lounge every other Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, and that'll be coming up on November 12th once again. And OCC, you can find it all by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, find the OCC playlist. The Lasers are also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to onondagalazers.com and go Lasers. Once again, many thanks to Brendan Murphy and to Adrian Autry. Thank you to you for watching and listening. I will be putting out my entire top 25. I gave you my top 10. My top 25 for college football heading into week 11 will air on all of our social media today, so be sure to be on the lookout for what I think ahead of the college football playoffs rankings. Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, X at CallDT, Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. For now, from the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, you are amazing. Be kind, be good. I apologize to everyone I've ever hurt. I never truly meant to, and I forgive all that have hurt me, because God is great, and we need to be good to each other. So, I send you my love. I send you my prayers. And to everybody that's good to me, I love you. And to everybody that's bad to me, I love you, because we all come from the same God. God bless. No stress. Do your best. Be safe and have a good day.